And now on Who's Views, it's time to join JT, Paul, and Third Doctor Ian for the latest headlines.
Doctor Who magazine. How long has it got? Hello everyone, it's us here at Who's Views. It's your big show this Sunday, the 28th of June 2026. It is headlines. It is good to see you. Welcome, welcome, welcome. As ever, I'm here with Third Doctor Ian and Paul. And gentlemen, get ready. Lots more conversation and discussion coming up during this big show because, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, have you heard? Bad Wolf's secret has been revealed. Yes.
Can't wait.
The BBC is desperate at the moment. It's grasping for the old pound. It's even looking down the back of the sofa. That's coming up very, very quickly. If you're outside the UK, you may be interested in that particular one. And yes, the big question for this evening is Doctor Who magazine. Have you seen the latest issue? The quadrupling down continues. And we're going to be asking throughout the show, how long has it got?
5 minutes, hopefully, that'll be it,
yeah. Paul said to me before we came on air, Christmas. Wishful thinking there, I think. But yeah, we're going to be asking you, and we're going to be going through the latest issue of Doctor Who magazine as well, just to see what you guys think about it. Do you know they're putting the cover price up next month as well to $11.99?
Really?
$11.99
with some of the issues, yeah.
Oh hell,
yeah.
That's going to help sales no end, isn't it? Let's be honest. I mean, a price hike, for God's sake, everyone's skint. Really, it's not good. Yeah.
When you look at it properly, and we will get into this, Who viewers, but when you look at it realistically, there is so much against Doctor Who magazine right now, including production costs, the fact that the magazine industry is in the toilet, the fact that the fans are not there necessarily for it. Yeah,
well, I suppose it matches because its content's in the toilet, isn't it? So it's quite poetic, really.
Well, we will be looking at all that later on in the show because we are going to look through, as I say, the latest issue of Doctor Who magazine. It's good to see you all. Thank you for joining us this Sunday evening here in the UK. As I say, it's the 28th of June. I would like to say a huge thank you to everybody that's been getting in touch this week. Really appreciate it. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. And I'd like especially to give a shout out to Timothy Williams, to Adam Rossi, to Mark Farndale, to Simon Bowler, to Paul Charmer, Adam Luff, Philip Shaw, Mark Milford, Sheriff Brackett, Fafty Head, the Nate Channel, to Christopher Hayden, to Hartnell's Ghost, to Stephen Rogerson, to Bill Lowry, the Legion of James, to Sean Brady, to Julie Goodwin, to Graham Clements, to Stuart Green, to Ian Barlow, to Tony Farrell, Alan Hunting, Paul Edmonds, Bradley Bono Broadfoot, Paul Budenschlafter, and Chris Packett. See what he did there, Chris?
Can I have a little shout out? I believe it's someone's birthday today. Can I have a wee shout out for Lala, because I know she watches.
Oh, yes. Happy birthday to Lala Ward. Yeah. Bless her. It is her birthday today. Gosh, there we go. And we'll move on. So, yes, anyway, let's get into this now. Unfortunately, we are going to be starting with some sad news for this edition of Headlines, everybody, because we have heard of several deaths of actors connected to Doctor Who this month through June. And we're going to start, first of all, with Nicholas Evans, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, who has passed on. Now, Nicholas Evans, you will know, operated a Dalek and the Slither in the Dalek invasion of Earth. It was under the name of Nick Evans back at the time. He played Didius in the Romans as well.
Yeah.
He was also in The Power of the Daleks. There's an uncredited Dalek, apparently, Paul.
Oh, I didn't know that. That's good to know. Yeah.
Yeah. So there you go. So I never met Nick Evans. Never met him at all. So if you guys did, you can let us know about this. But I did see him on various makings of and stuff like that, but I never got to meet him. But gosh,
It's a shame. I love his interview on the making of being interviewed by the press about playing the Slither, which was a lovely little story. Yeah, yeah.
Yes, yeah. What a challenge that must be actually to an actor, especially back then when you're told to do something like that, and you have to think, "What's my motivation?"
Yes, the paycheck at the end of the week. That was it. Yeah. So,
Do you think it would have been him that was in that Slither photo where he was reading the Doctor Who Dalek World manual?
It could have been him or just a member of Shawcraft, maybe. I don't know.
Maybe Shawcraft, maybe. Yeah, because they made it, didn't they? Because it was outside the Shawcraft studio, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So it's probably one of them. We're also mentioning tonight that we've also lost this month William Slay. William Slay. Now he will be known to us, of course, in Doctor Who for his role in Revelation of the Daleks with Colin. No, sorry, Resurrection of the Daleks with Peter. What am I talking about? He was in Resurrection of the Daleks, wasn't he?
Yeah.
He's also performed in various other shows: Gangster Kittens, Shadow Man, Tipping the Velvet, Sleepers, The New Statesman, if you remember that one. No Place Like Home, the comedy. He was in Riley, Ace of Spies, Arabian Adventure. He's done a lot of theatre as well, but he was known for us, of course, as Kitston in Resurrection of the Daleks.
And he's in it. Spoilers coming up. He dies at the first 5 minutes, doesn't he? So
yeah. But he did, he was in the show, wasn't he? So yeah,
it's a nice performance up against Rodney Muse at the start. It's quite nice. Yeah,
it sets the tone for it, doesn't it? That particular one. So that's it. Yeah. So William, and then as a lot of you will know as well, we were also informed last week that we have also now sadly lost David Dacre. Now, David Dacre had 2 roles in Doctor Who. You'll know him, of course, from being in The Time Warrior with John Pertwee, with some very amusing publicity shots here. Look at them having fun there. But so he was in The Time Warrior, but he was also in Nightmare of Eden, which a lot of people forget. Lots of people will know him for Coronation Street, Z Cars, Dixon of Dock Green, Minder, and of course Boone.
Yeah.
He was massive for Boone. People knew it. But again, David Dacre was one of those faces, guys, that we knew when we were growing up. He was around on British television because he did so much work. Of course, he did an awful lot of theatre as well.
He's really lovely as Iron Drawn, though. That's a lovely performance. Him and the other actor, I've forgotten his name, together are brilliant together. Yeah.
He really makes the Iron Gron Blood Axe double act is one of the things that makes that story obviously the best Sontaran to be seen on screen ever as well. I think with Link's makeup and performance and everything else, but that's a really, really good story. But Nightmare of Eden, I mean, it's quite, it's from a much maligned cheapy era of Doctor Who with Graham Williams, none of his fault, but Nightmare of Eden really went to some dark places, didn't it, with drugs and things like that. Yeah. And he was drugged without his knowledge, wasn't he? As the captain of the ship, and quite a dark program, but a memorable character all the same.
Fantastic character, and I used to like as a kid or a young man. I liked Boone as well. To see him in that with Michael Elphick, they had a great rapport as well. Again, David, I never got to meet him at all, and yet he was around. When I was around, I don't know why I never went up and said hello or got his autograph or anything like that. But a rough few weeks for people that have appeared in Doctor Who. David Dacre, Doctor Who, Boone and Stryker, and Dick Turpin, says Stephen Braddock. Yes, he was Stryker in Dick Turpin, which is Stephen was telling me it's been rerun now, and I keep forgetting to watch it. I've only seen 2 episodes.
I got it on DVD a couple of years ago, and the first series is brilliant, really good. And the second series is a co-production with the States, and it's not so good. But Richard O'Sullivan is really good as Dick Turpin. I never really considered him more of a straight actor because of all these comedy stuff like Man About the House and George and Mildred and all that kind of stuff. Not George and Mildred, Robin's Nest, all that kind of stuff. But he is really good as Dick Turpin. A very good straight actor, I have to say. Yeah.
Funky is saying to us, I hadn't heard about David Dacre. I've been watching Boom most of the last few months. Oh, there you go. Avon is saying R.I.P. Dave. Digital Pollution is saying TV legend. Arjan, hello Arjan, nice to see you. The greatest Romana of them all, the Honourable Lal Award. Darren Zone, nice to see you as well. Steve Braddock saying R.I.P. William Slay there. Thank you for that, everybody. John Pope, it's nice to see you.
I used to live down the road from where Dick Turpin was dispatched. I just thought I'd throw that in.
Oh, in reality, in the real world, yeah. Yeah. Of course. Lots of people joining us this evening, guys. It's great to see you all.
When you say dispatched, you don't mean posted, do you? No. So
He still wouldn't have arrived if he'd been posted
he'd
in
still
this.
be waiting for him. Yeah.
Steve Braddock is saying that he loves the description that Dacre gives in the Time Warrior of the Doctor, a long shank with a mighty nose.
Yeah.
Sheila be in the devotion. It's good to see you. Oh yeah, I remember him and Dick Turpin and during Jack Rabbit. Hello, Jack. Half of season 15 is good, half of season 16 is good, half of season 17 is good. So overall, it's still watchable. Any of those seasons are instantly better than anything I've seen in recent years.
Yeah.
I was watching Nightmare of Eden recently. Actually, it's just bizarre. Pete Harrington is saying he's one of brilliant character actors that really helps the scene. Fab actor. Yeah. Digby, hello Digby. Gotta love Time Warrior. Great little historical sci-fi. I love The Nightmare of Eden. As Ian rightly notes, it's a serious story. It is. And had they, it was one of these things. I always said to, I'm going to name drop and say, I always said to Bob, if Nightmare of Eden was done today, it'd be done on a very weird location, and it would be done very dark, and it'd be very nitty gritty, and they'd really play up the drug aspect to it, wouldn't they? Yeah. But there you go. It is very sad news, Avon. Hope you're well. Nice to see you. Sorry about starting the show off on a low, everybody, but this is part of what we do, and it's sad news, isn't it? Really, when we lose people from the show.
Yeah.
As we've said before, I guess we're there, aren't we? I guess with that particular point.
Yeah, it's sad, but God bless them all, and thank you for your contribution to Doctor Who and to acting in general. So thank you very much. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah,
especially with Nick as well, because he goes right back almost to the very start, doesn't he? With Dalek Invasion.
Yeah. And the brilliant thing about them being in Doctor Who, guys, is that they're always going to be there.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because we know Doctor Who is never going anywhere. We now know that to be absolutely spot on true. You know, even Richard Brooks is saying even the most maligned and unpopular stories in the classic era are miles above anything post Capaldi.
Oh
exactly.
God, yes.
Yeah, exactly. They're not going anywhere at all. And future generations will find these original Doctor Who stories and love them just as much as we do. I guarantee you. So they're all going to be there. Everybody involved in the Doctor Who stories, the original Doctor Who stories. Wow, a bit of immortality for them in a sense. But to all the families, David Dacre, to William Slay, and to Nicholas Evans, to their families and friends, thinking of you at this difficult time for you.
Yeah.
All the very best. But as I say, they'll never be forgotten in Doctor Who circles. So thank you to them.
Yeah.
Goodness.
God bless you guys. Yeah.
Right. Okay, so I'm going to get on now, everybody. We're going to move on. And thank you for joining us this evening. I mentioned, before I get to that, I want to mention Clayton Hickman, because he's been at it again. Haven't you, Clayton? Yes. He's been busy doing stuff again.
Yes.
You're going to like this quite a bit, because look at this now. You'll recognize this picture.
Oh, yes. I think I've seen this. Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So this is from the Centre Rights.
The Space Museum, isn't it?
That's what I mean. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Do you know what? I don't know where I am all today. I think it's a heat and everything else. It's just got to me. I'm everywhere. So I don't know. So yeah, there we go. So you know this picture very well. But Clayton's been very busy at this. And he's worked his magic.
Oh,
that's stunning.
That is lovely. Yeah. Really nice.
Incredible. That's an incredible job.
I love that scene in the Space Museum when the Doctor tried to outwit the Morok leader. That's very funny.
Mm.
It's not one of the stories I go back to, I must admit.
Episode 1's really good. The rest of it's a bit, but that's okay. But, apart from Heart being a Dalek, which is lovely. That's very nice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a bit of a procedural, isn't it? But
yeah.
But Clayton, it's nice to see that Clayton's off still doing stuff like that. So thank you very much. Keep them coming, and we will look at them. But yeah, he's very good at all that stuff as well, isn't he, Clayton? He's just so creative at it all.
Yeah,
and it's not in crayons either. I'm quite impressed. Yeah, so.
I wouldn't know where to start, Who viewers. I really wouldn't. Cool, says Sheila B in the devotions, and Pete Harrington is saying to us, "Oh, it pops, doesn't it?" And Dr. Red Who Dwarf, hello all, beautiful colorization, isn't it? Just absolutely gorgeous. So well done, Clayton. That's absolutely fantastic. Somebody else I want to say well done too is our very own Nate channel, the Nate channel. Now, The Nate channel, if you have only just joined us, we've catalogued his creation of a new scale TARDIS console room for his action figures over the past few months. Now, Paul, you weren't here for the last ones, but I hope you got to see them.
Yeah,
oh, what a shame. Did you see it?
I think I have. I've seen the others you put up when I was on, but I think I have seen it. Yes, I remember. Yeah.
Yeah, because he sent us some pictures because you asked him for a scale model of Capaldi in the console room, and he did that, and we've shown that.
I saw that. Yeah.
Well, what he's done now is he's shown us he's been playing around with the lighting on his action figure set.
Oh,
that is nice. Yeah.
I love this because I love the roof. I love the rondels at the top. It's a mix of the Capaldi era console with the 1980s inspired console room set, everybody. So it's a mashup.
I think it works really well. Yeah, it's nice.
Yeah, it's better for it, isn't it, with the roundels and everything?
Yeah.
The lighting's superb.
Yeah, I just love how the pillars go into the ceiling. So it's also reminiscent of McGann's console room as well, actually.
Yeah, it's lovely. Yeah.
Very creative, Nate. Thank you for sharing this with us. Absolutely stunning. He still hasn't sent it to me, though. Still I've asked.
So this is actually a model rather than just a photograph. Like it's not an AI photograph mock-up.
No, he's actually built it.
Yeah. Fantastic. Yeah,
it's for his action figures. Yeah, he's also preparing another one, and look what else he's up to.
Oh, nice.
So what we can see here is the 1980s version from Tom Baker and Peter Davison. But look at these Daleks in the background.
Lovely. Very nice.
He's doing them as well. He's very good, isn't he?
Absolutely, very talented.
And he's got a rubber duck, so full points for me. Do love rubber ducks, but I love that. So obviously, this is all this stuff that I don't understand and I can't do. It's all this sort of printing?
Is it 3D printing? Yeah, I think it is. Yeah.
I can't. I don't understand it. Look at it.
I've seen someone who's been doing Palitoy style Daleks or the Louis Marx ones in larger scale. I think the artist is Grant Wheeler, I think his name is, and he does various stuff. And he's done like a larger version of the Louis Marx Tricky Action one, the ones that came in the 60s and the 70s, the yellow and red ones in the 70s. And he's done larger versions of them, and they're really nice.
Yes, I have the details of all of it.
Yeah,
I have the details of all of those. We'll have to talk about that at some point because I know who's doing them, and I have all the details because they are available to buy.
Oh, lovely.
So I will try and remember to put them into a show in the future. Lots of you looking at fantastic. Nate says Steve Braddock. It's a model. It's brilliant, says Pete Harrington. Avon is saying, I like the square hand guards. Nate is in the chat with us as well saying, thank you, guys. You're very welcome, mate. It's a work of art. It's fantastic.
Lovely,
Itagishi is saying fantastic work. Thanks, Itagishi. Digital pollution. That's pretty cool, isn't it? Just. And Digby is saying, now imagine if Moffat or RTD had used that design on TV. Diggs, let's move forward. Imagine that's the design they use if it comes back. Wouldn't that be great if they did that in the future?
It would be great, but they're not clever enough to even consider that, are they? Let's be honest.
They lack the foresight, don't they?
Yeah.
Funky is saying Enlightenment style lighting there. Yes, indeed. What no jukebox, says Craig Dunlop. Rick Storm, that looks awesome. I want one. Well, get in line, Rick. Get behind me, mate, because I'm first. John Mason, wow, it's awesome, isn't it? Just, I absolutely love it. And that's amazing, says Richard Brooks. A large enough scale to have some detail. What a great job. Yeah, I'm just so impressed with it. I think the actual design of it is lovely, clashing all the sort of styles you've got. Absolutely love it. Yes, hail the duck indeed, says Funky. I love it. And Sheila B's noticed, oh, lovely brushes. I love that. He's an artist, you see, everybody.
Yes.
David Shaw, it's good to see you. How are you? Nice to see you. And Dr. Red Hoodwolf is saying, that's how you do model building. I built a 3/4 Dr. TARDIS in cardboard. Oh, fab. I love it. Yeah, I absolutely love it. So keep us informed, please. Nate, keep us informed. And let's see where you go to with it. I wonder what he's doing. I want to see what sort of the next one's going to be.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that'll be fun, I think. But yeah, Nate, keep us informed with everything you're doing. Thank you very much. And there he is there saying, thanks, Whose Views, much appreciated. Well, you're very welcome because we love it.
Yeah, keep it up.
like, I just look at it and I just think, oh, I want to be able to do that sort of thing.
You could imagine a full-size real-life person walking onto that as if it's a set. It is so realistic.
Yeah,
it's much better than that thing they produced for the Gatwa era with the Disney
Oh,
money,
God.
though, isn't it?
yeah.
And it would have been easier to shoot in because it wasn't too large a scale on that one. But no, yeah, good for you, Nick Channel, and keep us, as I say, keep us informed, and yeah, keep making me jealous on that one because I'm really not happy about it. Thank you very much indeed. Okay, then, so let's get into today's headlines then here on your big show on Who's Views. The BBC. The BBC.
Bless them.
I wouldn't go that far, Ian.
What can you possibly say about the BBC? What a load of old crap, quite frankly. I mean, really, it is every single week. It goes further down the hill, doesn't it, towards that massive, you know, I don't know, dump. I just don't. How did they get themselves into such a mess? Lots more revelations from the BBC out there. Allegedly, a lot more to come. And I keep thinking to myself, and we'll talk about this later, maybe the further away Doctor Who gets from the BBC, the better. But a story that grabbed my attention about the BBC this week is actually reported in The Telegraph, and it's this one, which is the BBC News is to target non-British viewers. Now, this is the latest thing about BBC News, because, of course, what they're pushing for here now with the current Labour government, the Labour government want, when you switch on your computers, as we spoke about last week, and you switch on your phone and your iDevices and your laptops or your computers or everything, they want the first thing that comes up for you everywhere in the UK to be BBC News. And you won't get a choice in that necessarily. Now, I know a couple of you emailed me in the week to say that can't work, that can't happen. Try telling the Labour government that. Because they'll spend millions and millions and millions of taxpayers' money, and then you turn on it when they realise that they can't do it. But anyway, this one, it was an interesting one. I thought I'd like to see opinions on this one, because this is BBC News to target non-British viewers. BBC News is to target international viewers as it seeks to make more money from its TV channel overseas. Jonathan Munro, the interim chief executive of BBC News, said the broadcaster would prioritise international audiences as it sought to shore up its finances. The broadcaster carried out a controversial merger of its BBC News and BBC Worldwide channels in 2023. Now, BBC Worldwide, of course, is now BBC Studios. The move meant programming was combined into a single channel serving both UK and international audiences, with UK-based viewers switched to a separate feed focused on domestic news when major stories break. Now, at this point, I want to say this has all passed me by because I don't watch the BBC or have anything to do with them, so I don't really know what they're talking about, but it seems like a mad plan to me. In an all-staff meeting on Tuesday afternoon, Mr. Munro insisted the merger was the right move at the right time, although he acknowledged it wasn't without its detractors, let's be honest. He added, I think we need to go a step further with the news channel, but I'm talking about evolution, not revolution. The evolution I've got in mind is that the news channel needs to point increasingly towards our global audiences, because that's where the BBC is really delivering value. Right. The story continues. Mr. Munro said global audience numbers had gone up by several million at a time when people keep saying television's dead. However, he acknowledged that the ulterior motive for the plans was that the BBC could generate commercial revenue from its news channel overseas. It is blocked from showing advertising in the UK. I'd like to correct them on that. It is not blocked. They just don't want to, where it's funded by the license fee. He said, outside the UK, we can drive commercial revenues harder. And to do that, we need to make the relevant agenda of the news channel applicable to greater audiences. Every pound we get in the door from that is a pound we don't need to find in savings. The BBC News boss insisted the corporation would continue to serve domestic audiences, saying the strategy change would not have changed its commercial revenues harder. And to do that, we need to make the relevant agenda of the news channel applicable to greater audiences. Right, okay. Can you hear the waffle in this? The BBC News boss insisted the corporation would continue to serve domestic audiences, saying the strategy change would not have changed its approach to covering Sir Keir Starmer's resignation on Monday, for example. However, he said other stories, such as the sentencing of Peter Murrell and his famous Murrell collection, the former SNP chief on Tuesday were less suitable for a global audience and would probably only be covered via streaming on iPlayer in future. The international push came as Matt Britton, the new Director General, addressed staff about sweeping cuts that will lead to almost 2,000 employees, or 10% of the workforce, losing their jobs. Mr. Britton, a former Google executive, last week announced that 550 jobs will be slashed in the first tranche of cuts aimed at saving 160 million this year. The BBC will wield the axe on programming including Radio 4's The World Tonight and Midnight News, why Amoy Rajan will not be replaced when he leaves the Today programme. Addressing staff on Tuesday, Mr. Britton said, "I'm really sorry that we have to deal with this. It's unavoidable, but I know the amount of uncertainty and concern it brings to colleagues, and I've heard that loud and clear from people." He added, "Although we're here for BBC-specific reasons, pretty much every organisation globally is dealing with an unprecedented level of uncertainty and having to go through difficult changes." I can't stand this whole thing that they're saying in this article that the BBC is blocked from taking advertising. It certainly is not blocked from taking advertising at all.
No.
Where's that come from?
It's just their stubbornness. They don't want to take it. That's the thing.
Yeah, it's an arrogance, isn't it? They think they're above the advertising thing, but they're desperately wanting the money. And they realise they're up against the fact that they can't bleed any more out of the British public. So they're going scrimping for it elsewhere. But I mean, if they're going to pursue foreign viewers, they're doing that off the back of the payments that the British public have made, and that's just wholly inappropriate. That's just wrong. It's the British Broadcasting Corporation, not a global service. I know they have the world service, but I don't think they should have that, to be quite honest. They're irrelevant.
I feel a hell of a lot of propaganda coming out from around this story again, to be quite honest, to justify what they want to do. And the fact that we know that they won't even consider advertising, they won't even consider all these other options that have been put on the table because they are insistent that they keep the TV license. So do you remember when the days were simpler? BBC News was just another show that was broadcast on the BBC. When and why did they suddenly decide it needs to become its own business?
Yeah.
And it was still funded by the taxpayer, though, through the license fee. Yeah?
Yeah.
What I don't understand why. Why have they gone out to all these things, to say, oh, BBC News is its own business now, BBC Sport is its own business, oh, Children's Bee is its own business. It's not, it's just a department of the BBC.
Well, I think they've always had streams of areas where they can make revenue, like BBC Enterprises and stuff like that. So they've always kind of areas to go into to try and make money. I don't mind them making money, but I agree with what Ian's saying about if the initial funding is coming from the taxpayer, then that doesn't make any sense to the homegrown audience at all. That we're paying for other things before we get any benefit from it. It doesn't make any sense. It's not even fair.
The thing about the British Broadcasting Corporation is it's not supposed to make money. BBC Worldwide, which is a completely different beast, is the commercial arm. They are to make money. So is BBC News now like BBC Studios? No. It's still not. It hasn't been. Oh gosh, my words tonight. It hasn't been tendered out. It's still a BBC thing. It's not a private company, as far as I'm aware. Is it, chat? It's just the BBC. I mean, it's still in Broadcasting House. So it shouldn't be making money. The iPlayer, as I've always said, should be making money. Outside the UK. Outside the UK, that should be turned into some sort of business via BBC Worldwide, BBC Studios rather. But BBC News, if it wants to go down that route, it needs to look at how it's actually funded, because it shouldn't be taking any money from the license fee.
If they just simply took advertising, it saved them so much hassle, and they would be able to get some advertising, I'd imagine, from somewhere. So why not just put their money where their mouth is and go for that? It make more sense. It really would.
I think it's insane. This whole thing. I mean, whatever the BBC for years, as far as I'm concerned, has been, and I speak with some bitterness because they wouldn't employ me. But it's a case of also, the fact is, I think they've just been, pummeled into the ground by complete and utter lunatics who don't understand what business is. And we've seen that time and time again when it comes to Doctor Who. We're going to be seeing it again during this show when it comes to Doctor Who, when we talk about Circuit Breaker. So there's all this sort of stuff I just don't get. I don't understand. Digby is saying to us here, thank you for your super chat, Digby. Perhaps it's time that the Vive just went subscription only and started charging this global audience instead of the British public, who clearly don't like them very much. It's always very difficult, isn't it, Debbie, when you're talking to people online, and I'm talking about the social media platforms from outside the UK, they just do not and never will understand how the BBC and British television runs here. We are not like America. We are not like Canada. We are not like Australia. It's unique to Britain. And they never understand this. And you know, the amount of times I've been called ridiculous names because I'm telling the truth about how the BBC operates, especially right now when we've got a minority of fans, rabid fans, denying the show is on hiatus, which it is. The show is currently out of production. It's on hiatus. They hate that, some of these people. They are lunatic enough not to believe that, you know. But anyway, trying to explain what the BBC is like, the message never actually gets through.
Well, I suppose it's so alien to any other country, isn't it? It's just it's lunatic, really. You know, you get state television like you see in North Korea, but I don't think it charges its citizens to watch it. I mean, they're forced to watch it. Yeah, but they don't have to pay for the privilege. But let's say this way, Paul, you said something very telling there. You said they're forced to watch it. What did JT say about all the social platforms having to be directed straight to BBC News? That's forcing us to watch it, and that's North Korea.
It's on the way.
Only we've got to pay for it as well. So that actually makes it worse.
I'm totally
convinced. It's all to monitor your
government
activity online, isn't it? That's the thing, you know. So So
well, I'm totally convinced that under this current government, that's the way we're going. We are under a dictatorship, and it's going to get worse with Andy Burnham coming in. I can guarantee you, because he's more far left than Starmer. So that, I mean, this country is ridiculous as it stands at the moment. It's terrifying from my point of view, because this is not the country I know. But we're getting all this dictate about all this sort of stuff, and it's coming in. So the BBC is our state broadcaster, but it's incredibly biased. It's incredibly far left. It's full of propaganda. Oh, I don't know. I give up. You know, if they said, this is the other thing. If they said, right, BBC News is going to be its own company, I would be happier with that, because then I could say, well, I don't watch it anyway, but I can say I don't want anything to do with that either. But I do know people that pay the license fee, and they're paying for this propaganda machine. And now they're going to start paying people outside, or charging people from outside the UK to access its service. Wrong. It's not BBC News that they should be accessing. It's the iPlayer. The entertainment side of stuff. Mudcrab is saying to us, isn't one of the B's in the name meant to be British? Well, it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be. Yeah, they don't seem to understand that, because nobody, I think, in the BBC likes being British. You've got all these hard left liberals, and they are ashamed of Britain. They do not like to be British. You know,
no, it's a dirty word, isn't it?
Yeah, it's vile. Yeah, it's vile. We saw it coming out in Doctor Who, in my opinion. Legion of James, this has infuriated me about the BBC. The whole notion that the BBC is a trusted news source is a farce. It's nothing short of biased propaganda media. Exactly. Stephen Braddock, however, is saying the un-British bias conversation. Dr. Red Hoodwolf, international viewers won't watch. They have more sense than people in Britain. It's 50-50 on some stuff. I mean, on some stuff, we're still very full of common sense. On other stuff, we're not, when it compared to other countries. I mean, we still know a man is a man and a woman is a woman, for heaven's sake. Whereas other countries don't seem to understand that. John Mason says it's unbelievable. Again, Dr. Red Hoodwolf, the more money they get, they should drop the license fee in turn for British viewers. This is because the whole thing about this, though, is simply because the license fee is no longer making them the millions and millions and millions they needed like it used to, because you've had so many people across the UK, so many households cancelling their license fee. That's why they're desperately now trying to find a way to make sure they can charge us for whatever.
But they waste so much money, I've said before, but through diversity or hiring coaches and things like that, or different people do different things, admin people, and not put money into productions and stuff like that. And they waste so much money, it just goes right down the pan, doesn't it? I mean, no wonder they're in dire straits.
Yeah, exactly. Jess Corbyn saying, yes, the BBC Royal Charter prohibits the corporation from broadcasting paid advertisements on its core UK public services. But that can be changed very, very easily. And they could have done it 15, 20 years ago. But they are so snobbish, they don't want to change it. it can change. The Royal Charter can change, Jess. It just needs an act of law.
Every 5
And no
years.
one's had to do it. Yeah. Every so often they can say, right, this is what we're going to take away. This is what we're going to adapt. But the BBC are bloody minded. They don't want to do it. They can. It's very easy. They even have this thing now where subtle product placement goes on. That goes on in shows now. Margie 75. Keir Starmer resigned as Prime Minister already. Yes, he did. He resigned on the beginning of the week there. Leaving the door wide open for more trouble. I can tell you. We haven't seen anything yet. John Roberts is saying, does this mean the BBC will only show you news they want you to see? Yes, in my opinion. Don't know what
with a narrative slant as dictated by the government.
Yeah.
As it is now.
Yeah. The Forbidden Man says BBC already got its World Service. Yeah. And again, that can, as Ian says, is it needed? How much money can we save on that? Pete Harrington saying BBC advertises all the time. Michael Disney, hello to you. At least they're being consistent in their desperation. You're absolutely right. Stephen O'Neill saying that the BBC's Royal Charter has historically forbidden traditional commercials on its domestic services like TV and radio, which are funded instead by the licence fee. Yes, but it hasn't. And again, I'm going to say it can be changed. It can be altered by an act of law. But no government wants to do it because the BBC keeps saying no. And Stephen, as I'm going to say again, they break their own rules. There is advertising on the BBC. There used to be days when you would watch Blue Peter or something like that, and they'd get a Kellogg's cornflakes box, and they'd have to cover up the word Kellogg's with black tape. That doesn't happen necessarily
or
today.
Big black marker on it.
Yeah.
And they'd have to call it sticky back plastic because they couldn't say sellotape because it was a brand name.
Yeah.
Well, sticky back plastic.
At least it was in Australia. I could go Durex, I believe, if I may tell you.
The BBC need to remember who's in charge, and it isn't them.
Well, it is to them, isn't it? Because we all know how they look at the British public.
But by them rejecting things that the government could try, or governments could try and put forward, which they have done for alternative funding, it's a bit like the tail wagging the dog, isn't it? They need to stay in their lane, and they take instructions. They shouldn't be giving them. But
Philip Shaw is saying to us that the end of Freeview may chivvy the BBC into action. Possibly. They're going to be very aware of all this. What I always look at the BBC now and just think it is totally out of its depth. I think I said this a couple of weeks ago. It's totally out of its depth in this modern world. It hasn't kept up. It hasn't foreseen things properly, and it hasn't actioned things properly. The license fee is just one of its many, many issues, which is totally out of date. Streamlining it is not going to be enough, in my opinion. Hidden History and the Holy, nice to see you. If they want to attract more viewers to the news, then they can start off by being more honest and apologise for the brainwashing propaganda that they push out. I always get concerned when people are just watching Hidden History, the BBC, for their news, because they're not getting the full story. You know, they're not getting the full stories at all. The BBC are not covering absolutely anything, really, when you look at the alternative channels that are covering stuff.
It's interesting, the Peter Murrell story that came out recently. They're doing a documentary about that, an investigation, but they're not doing an investigation about Peter Mandelson, for instance, which is far more interesting than that, to be honest. Let's be honest.
Yes. And then we've got this whole thing about the, how can I say this as well? The certain reports that are going on around and about the country now about certain gangs. That's incredibly important. And that's a conspiracy, and that's a cover-up that goes back 30, 40 years. Do the BBC touch that? No, as far as I'm aware. They don't, and they don't go in depth with it. So the independent channels, the up-and-coming channels, the new ones have to do that. And I think it's shocking. Raymond Williams, good to see you. The BBC needs to end. It's been overtaken by 21st technology, streaming services, etc. Once it stopped making its own content in-house, it finished as a British entertainment service. I think I'm inclined to agree with that, and very well said.
I think that was
it, yeah. And that was the Tories that brought that thing in under Thatcher, wasn't it? Everything's got to be farmed out.
Yeah.
That was the death. I agree with that, Raymond. That was the death knell for the BBC. Yeah, because they lost all their creative control then. And Starhovian. Hello, Starhovian. How are you? I do wonder what RTD was planning for the Christmas special. That was so bad that the BBC had to step in and cancel it. Well, we went through that last week and it was bloody awful, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Guys?
Oh, God, yeah.
It was
We dodged the bullet there, folks. Let's be honest. Yeah.
Oh, it was terrible. Do you know, I have to say to you, when I was reading that stuff out last week, I did get a message saying, it's not a rumor, it was fact. And then I got another one saying that I'm the person that leaked it, and that's exactly what happened. And it was bloody awful. Typical RTD. John Pope, hiya. No license fee now for 5 years. Don't miss it, and over £800 in the bank. I haven't had a license for God knows how long, mate. I can't tell you how long it's been. I've lost count. It's a long time. Must be about 2018, actually. When was Jodie Whittaker announced as Doctor Who?
2017.
Oh, well, then that's when it was, because that's when I went, no, I've had enough of this cancelled.
Literally about now, wasn't it? Because Wimbledon's on, isn't it, at the minute?
Yeah.
So it was about equivalent probably of next Sunday, isn't it? Is that when the finals are?
I think so, yeah.
Yes, it will be. Yeah, if this is week 1, it'll be today. A week today it finishes with the men's final. Yeah, absolutely. Tor Paul, how are you, Tor Paul? I pay a monthly subscription in America for BritBox International, which operates the streaming service in countries like the US, Canada, and Australia. It's fully owned by BBC Studios. That's right. Yeah, you're right. Terry Lepsel, hello all. We need to purge Marxism from the public life of this country. I don't know how, but we do. Not when we've got the government we've got, I'm afraid. That's not going to happen. Raymond is also saying, I still pay the license fee because the wife loves Strictly Come Dancing and Traitors, so that's me stuffed. At least I can watch Classic Who on the iPlayer. Yeah. Until those 2 shows end. And thank you for your super chat to Randy Howell, Canada or Canadian here. Hello. I find it strange that the US streaming rights for Doctors 9 to 13 were unsolved for 2 years until the very tiny AMC Plus picked it up. I found it strange that the US streaming rights for Doctors 9 to 13. That's because they were too busy, though, Randy, I think, with the Disney thing.
Yeah. Getting too cocky with that one, weren't they? Let's be honest. So,
yeah.
Well, they were under the assumption that was going somewhere, weren't they?
Yeah, they were, yeah.
Well, it did. It was just down the toilet.
Yeah, how wrong were they? Yeah.
Yeah. Because Russell destroyed that. I keep saying to people, it was nothing to do with Disney to that extent. This was RTD and his tunnel vision and his echo chamber of what he was going to do to it. And he was the one that put the boot in. That's why Disney said, this isn't for us. We don't want to carry on with this.
Remember, Russell said was have Doctor Who every year, he said, from now on. Yeah.
Exactly. Solorian Skies, how are you? We need BBC England. They have BBC Cymru, BBC Scotland, BBC Aya, or does that ruin their plans to eradicate English culture in replace for an imaginary non-cultural labelled no one speaks British? The whole thing about that, for me, is the arrogance. BBC One. And then you've got the token gestures of BBC Scotland, BBC Cymru, BBC Aya. It's just a token. That's all. And in the case of BBC Scotland, what the hell are they there for? Because it's bloody useless.
We already have a BBC England anyway. They call it BBC Urdu.
It's BBC One, isn't it? It's just. I always thought that was absolutely ridiculous. BBC One should be BBC, but no, they had to do this thing of let's have BBC Scotland there. But I don't understand why. And the only thing BBC Wales has had real success with, let's face it, was Doctor Who, and then they got rid of that. There's no guarantee that it's going to be in Wales still. Can't stand it when all these people are going on saying, "Oh, it has to be filmed in Wales." Why? What if it's a Glasgow company that wins any future tender? Why would they have to go to Wales? What if it was a Mancunian company?
Can be filmed anywhere. That's the thing. It doesn't matter.
Well, I'd draw the line at Manchester, JT.
Well, they did Sheffield, didn't they? With Jodie, so that's not good.
Sheffield is now permanently tainted by that. But they could do Leeds, BBC in Leeds, if BBC got it. But
do you not like Leeds very much then? If they get another female doctor in to do it,
the female doctor would kill it dead, wouldn't it? Let's be honest.
It would. Yeah.
Star Whovian, I do think the decision they've taken with Doctor Who is a positive sign that the BBC are willing to change. I think it's a sign that they are willing to try and make money because they know they know Doctor Who can, but they can't, and they've just messed it up thanks to believing in RTD and Bad Wolf. And Bad Wolf again believed in RTD, so I blame everything Star Whovian at RTD's door. Don't like him. Pete Harrington saying to us, I blame Blue Peter making Tracy Island advertising an ITV show. It's disgusting, and that's where the rot started. That was a huge thing for Blue Peter, that, wasn't it? Hello, Braveheart.
Was Century 21, and it was shown on ITV, I think.
But wasn't it shown on BBC Two at that point when they got massive viewing figures and had a renaissance, didn't it, at one point?
Yeah, it did, because, of course, it's an independent, wasn't it? It was Jerry Anderson, so it can be anywhere now. So, and good for them. But that was a huge thing. Every kid in the bloody country wanted a Tracy Island. You had to keep all your rubbish. Braveheart, 15. Nice to see you. BBC News is crap. I believe so, my friend. Of course, I don't watch it. Don't need to. Don't need it. And I wouldn't believe any of their stuff anyway. I am your servant. Nice to see you. It's not the BBC as an institution that's bad. It's the people involved in it. Oh, totally. I mean, you can't blame the actual institution of the BBC because it doesn't exist. You know, it's definitely the people that are in it that have taken it down to their level, which is down there in the gutter.
Mm.
Randy Howell, 2 years of streaming revenue lost over that thing about doing that. Yes, because they were so concentrated on where the Disney thing was going to go and how they could exploit Disney for money. And the arrogance of them. And the arrogance. They've got egg on their faces now, haven't they? Honestly. And Mark Greaves, thank you for your super chat. Watching a history program is crap with the BBC, usually painting the British Empire as evil colonial whites, but never mention Roman, Aztec, Hunnish, or that we ended slavery with the Royal Navy. Well, they won't do because it goes against the narrative of the far left, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Again, I wouldn't. Once upon a time, I would have gone to the BBC, guys, for my history. Now I wouldn't even start with the BBC because I'd be worried about it having been, hijacked, rewritten. Yeah, because that's exactly what they did with homosexual and same-sex attracted men and women's history. They jumped on this bandwagon that a trans woman was responsible for our rights. Load of crap, absolute load of crap. And I don't care who knows it. It's absolute crap. PT Muzak saying it must have been bad if it's too woke for Disney.
Yeah, that's saying something. Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks for all your comments there. Keep them all coming, everyone. Funky, we can't really do the hashtag blame Anthea Turner. No, we can't really do that one.
Did they not blow her up on the back of a lorry shortly after that? They did,
Yes,
didn't
she survived, didn't she? Yes.
she did. They did blow her up accidentally, allegedly.
Yes,
didn't
that's
they?
right. Yeah.
Did they? I don't remember that.
Yeah, she was sat on the back of a truck talking, and I think she was meant to get up and walk away, and a pyrotechnic went off, but it went off while she was still sat there. It's on YouTube.
Yeah, it's one of those kind of all right on the night type things, isn't it? One of those night things. Yeah.
Stephen O'Neill is saying, I draw the line at Doctor Who having any Yorkshire involvement. Produce it on the right side of the Pennines, Lancashire.
Now, Stephen, you're absolutely wrong there, mate. You know the right side of the Pennines is Yorkshire. Come on. The sun shines over.
That's down south as far as I'm concerned, anyway.
It's all down south to you,
isn't it? Blue sky over here.
Yeah.
It's grey over there. It's different shades of grey.
And we've got from Doctor Who 1963, Julie and Jane are fighting to keep the show in Cardiff so they can rent out space in Bad Wolf. That could possibly be true because it's Bad Wolf have the largest sound stages in Wales. If not in Wales and England, but they are massive sound stages, and of course they cost an awful lot of money to keep going. And they've just lost their flagship show, which is, I'm going to say it again, Doctor Who is currently out of production, whether they like me saying it or not. But at this point, talking about Bad Wolf, I do want to say congratulations to all those people on social media and indeed the Tube of Who that were absolutely 100% adamant that the Christmas special was on the way. It's being filmed. There's a script ready. It's in secret. The sets are being built. Oh, there's a part of Bad Wolf that Julie Gardner didn't want you to see on this video. It's the Christmas special. Well, congratulations, everybody, because you were absolutely right. But it wasn't the television show you were expecting, were you? Because this week, of course, Bad Wolf did announce this. The Other Bennett Sister Christmas special is on the way. Have either of you two seen this Other Bennett thing?
No. I was about to say I've never heard of it. Yeah, no idea what it is. Yeah.
Well, I know that a couple of our friends in the chat do watch it because they've told me in the past. And apparently it's an example of Bad Wolf doing things right. Well, surprise, surprise. I wonder if that's because a certain person isn't involved with it. But it's a huge hit, guys. This is a massive, massive show, which regularly brings in at least 7 to 8 million viewers.
Wow.
That's a good figure. Yeah.
Imagine Bad Wolf would get a nosebleed at those figures these days.
Yeah. I've never heard of it.
Yeah,
I've never heard of it. If they can make decent television without any kind of interference or wokery, why can't they do it with Doctor Who? Yeah.
They messed it up chronic, didn't they?
Yeah.
They messed it up chronic for Doctor Who because of you know who.
Yeah.
And the fact that they listened to him and allowed him too much. What's the word I'm looking for?
Control.
Control. Yeah, too much. And now they're paying the price. Farsight, what's this? Thank you for your super chat. Small correction, guys. It's BBC Northern Ireland, not BBC Aya. Yeah, we knew what you meant. Don't worry about it, mate. We knew what you meant. Yeah, thank you for that, pal. Thank you. And Randy, thank you for this super chat. By the way, Amazon Prime Canada picked up the streaming rights to Doctors 9 to 12 in Canada. Did they? But did not buy Jodie's 13th Doctor. Jodie is not streamed here. That's weird, because with respect, Randy, from what I can see, Canada's woke as hell. And that's I would have thought they would have jumped on the chance to show the female Doctor Who, the big flop, the one where all the rot set in. But I didn't know that. Thank you for that. I did not know Amazon Prime Canada picked up Doctors 9 to 12. Did you guys?
No idea. No.
Very, very funny that they didn't pick up Jodie, though. That's fantastic.
Yeah. And of course, no one will ever be able to pick up Gatwa apart from Salvador and Servo. But nobody ever will be able to pick up that at all because
I'm sure plenty of people have picked up Gatwa.
Yeah, but no one's seriously, no one's going to be able to touch it because it's Disney. They pay for it. Yeah. It's theirs. So that's an era that you may never ever see broadcasted ever again because it doesn't look as if Disney is ever going to show it because they still haven't showed the fishy thing.
No. But it's interesting because it's still on the iPlayer, unfortunately. I wonder if the BBC will only be able to show it on there and Disney can show it, and that's it, no one else. And if that's the case, fantastic. That'll be wiped from history. How good is that? Yeah. Or just have it destroyed. Can we get Films Fabulous to do a reverse type thing on it?
Yeah,
that'd be great. Yeah,
I'm sure we can ask them nicely. Simon Banks, hello Simon Banks, how are you? So we are getting a Christmas special, but not the one we want. RTD was no doubt out of control the moment RTD was let loose with series 1 and 2. Totally. And Digby Strawberry is saying this is about this Bennett thing. It's okay if you like the Jane Austen novels. It's about the sister who's the template for Mary in Pride and Prejudice. It's not sci-fi, let's be honest, but it's better watched than the Crotons.
Better to watch the Crotons.
I see. Better to watch the Crotons, certainly. Oh, right, yeah. Space
I was going to say, Digby, you're off my Christmas card list if you hate the Crotons. Goodness me. Yeah.
And Space Peninsula saying Hollywood certainly hasn't picked up Gatwa. Well, let's get into that story, everybody, because this was the big news of the week here. Because this was from BBC Media Centre themselves. The Other Bennett Sister returns for a 3-part Christmas special. I'm going to say that again. A 3-part Christmas special. Stands back in amazement. The Other Bennett Sister is returning to BBC iPlayer and BBC One for a 3-part Christmas special produced by Bad Wolf for the BBC and BritBox North America. Screenwriter Sarah Quintrell, who wrote 9 of the 10 episodes of the series, will return to write all 3 episodes based on storylines by author Janice Hadlow. Asim Abbasi, who directed 5 episodes of the series, will also return to direct. The series, which will shoot primarily in Wales, surprise, surprise, still is here, this summer, that's now, everybody, will see the return of Ella Brucaleri as Mary, with a host of other familiar faces from the series set to return. Based on Janice Hadlow's acclaimed novel, The Other Bennett Sister followed Mary Bennett, the oft-overlooked middle sister in Pride and Prejudice, as she navigated the societal pressures of Regency England, where marriage is both aspiration and a necessity. The final episode of the series saw Mary agreeing to wed Tom Hayward, but fans will be keen to know what challenges the future holds for the happy couple. I'm gripped. I need to catch up on this. I need to watch this. The Other Bennett Sister was the biggest launch of a new drama across all platforms and streamers in the UK since May 2025, with 7.3 million viewers watching in its first 28 days. The story continues. It also became one of the BBC's most successful social media campaigns of the year so far, generating 250 million media views across the BBC's accounts on TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook, and underlining the strength of the BBC's multi-platform strategy. By building buzz and fandom among audiences, the campaign drove social engagement and cultural impact, bringing audiences to BBC iPlayer to watch the full series. At this point, I want to say, so how the hell did I not see it? How do I not know what's going on here?
Yeah.
I mean, you think they would have targeted the gay market, wouldn't you? You know, say, oh, look, this is all love and intrigue and handsome men in tight pants and lots of frocks. I would have been there. would have been there, I tell you. Sounds like my sort of thing. The story continues. Jane Tranter, yes, we all know Jane Tranter, executive producer and CEO of Bad Wolf, says, "We always hoped audiences would fall in love with Mary Bennett's story, but the response to the other Bennett sister has exceeded even our most optimistic expectations. These Christmas specials give us the chance to spend a little more time with characters audiences have taken to their hearts and to explore what happens after the wedding bells fade and real life begins. Returning to the world of Mary Bennett with our brilliant partners at the BBC and BritBox feels like the perfect way to celebrate the success of the series and give viewers a treat this Christmas." Another name we're all familiar with is Lindsay Salt, the director of BBC Drama, says, "It's been incredibly exciting to see Mary Bennett cause such a sensation in 2026, and we could not be happier to announce this new 3-part Christmas gift to her millions of fans. Marriage was just the beginning for the no longer so overlooked Bennett sister, and it's a joy to be working with Sarah Janice and the Bad Wolf team to let viewers discover what comes next." Jessa Reardon, commissioning executive of BritBox North America, says, "We know how much audiences have fallen in love with Mary Bennett, and we're thrilled that her story isn't over yet. We are so pleased Mary's story will continue for 3 more chapters and to welcome audiences back into the world of the other Bennett sister this holiday season, i.e. this Christmas season." That's a very American thing to say. And then it goes on with the details here. The other Bennett sister is a 3 by 30 minute commissioned by Leslie Salt, director of BBC Drama, for the iPlayer and BBC One, and John Farrer, Chief Content Officer, Director Consumer, BBC Studios for BritBox North America. Yeah, so congratulations to everybody who said that Bad Wolf were working on a Christmas special. You were spot on. You just got the wrong show.
Every time I hear the name Lindsay Salt, I think she should be involved with the fishy thing, don't you?
Yeah. But what went? I mean, I'm going to say it. What went wrong? RCD went wrong.
Yeah.
It's pretty obvious now, isn't it? This is a series which is getting higher viewing figures that Doctor Who did, that the majority of us won't have heard of. It's done very, very well, and now it's getting 3 Christmas specials.
Yeah, Russell would have killed for 3 of them, surely. He would have, allegedly.
He would have written crap, though, wouldn't he?
Yeah.
Well, we knew he was going to write crap because we went through it last week, didn't we? We went on last week's show. We talked about it.
Yeah,
Mark Greaves, thank you, Super Chat. You could pick up Gatwa for a Bacardi Breezer. Yeah. Richard Brooks is saying 3 parts. I wish the show well. If it isn't far left trash. Well, have we got any of the fans of this in the chat? Because I know some of our viewers love it. So if you're in the chat, I'll look for you now. Tell us what you love about it. What's it about? Because some of you are there. Hello, Davey B96. How are you? The Crotons, just for Zoe's costume alone. No, Dave. It's a Sunday. Take a day off.
Prefer the mind robber one myself. Yeah.
I can't be done with all this heterosexuality.
Well, if you can gush over men in tight trousers, Justin, we can do Zoe. Okay, so
he has a fair point. Yeah.
No, you can't.
Yeah, we can. Yeah.
The union says that it's in our contract.
Lex, good to see you, Lex. I hope you had a lovely time away. And Simon Banks, JT, why did the BBC show one of Patrick Troughton's series with Jamie and Zoe? Because it's the BBC and they don't probably not even aware of it. To be very, very honest. Let's have a look in the chat to see if anybody knows anything more about it. Because I know we do have people that watch it. Right, let's have a look. Julie, hello, Julie. Ironically, the other Bennett sister is basically really good fan fiction, unlike Doctor Who, which turned into really bad fan fiction. Oh, Simon is saying to at Christmas it would certainly go down well. Steve Braddock, yes, and the fact that the other Bennett sister is getting their episodes at Christmas this late in the year speaks volumes when Doctor Who couldn't get one.
Yeah.
Well, we knew that Doctor Who wasn't going to get one more or less from Christmas time onwards. So, we're going to be talking for months now about why they said what they said, and they shouldn't have done that, should they? They shouldn't have kept saying, "Oh, there's going to be a special coming," and thank goodness.
Yeah, I think lying about plot details to try and keep surprises is one thing, but lying about the actual facts, that's just not on, is it? Let's be honest.
Exactly. Is anybody in with us tonight that has watched it? I know a few of you watch this thing and love it. Stephen Goldsmith, hello. saying who? Ironic. I'm trying to find. Is anybody in the chat with us tonight that watched this? Steve Braddock saying, JT, it was launched with no advertising or fanfare, but excellent word of mouth gave it millions of views, including me. Steve, right there. So there we go. Stephen, you're in with us. Why is it good then? Why do you like it? Why did it get millions of viewers? Give me just a little bit of an explanation there. As people that haven't seen it, why is it popular and why has it got 3 Christmas specials? Hello to Problem.
If it's just good old-fashioned entertainment, that's what we want to hear, I think. Yeah, so
that's what we're looking at. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to get at. Is it? I mean, if Stephen's watching it, and a couple of others from our chat, I would say yes, it must be.
Yeah,
because they wouldn't watch anything that's just a bit silly. What else we got? Anybody else in there? I can't see anybody in the chat that's been there now. Oh, it's a shame that I'm talking about the story when I know that some of you have watched this thing and you've emailed me saying, "Oh, it's great." Oh, that's a shame. I can't see anybody in the chat. Can you guys? Here we go. Stephen is saying to us, JT, it's funny, heartwarming, intelligent, feel-good drama and no messaging at all. It's excellent. Oh, well, thanks, Stephen. That's fine. So there we go. So it's good, proper old-fashioned drama then, done in the old-fashioned way. Right, so we'll take that particular one. That's good, but it just shows you how ridiculous Bad Wolf have been then going down that route they did with Doctor Who under Russell's guidance. Why didn't they turn around and say no?
They must be kicking themselves as well because they must have lost money from this as well, surely, in the end.
Yeah,
but they've lost the production of the show.
Yeah.
You know, classic period drama, says Avon. And Julie, it was really good and it's happy. The boring sister nobody cared about has a love story with a happy ending. And now she's getting 3 Christmas episodes, Julie. Thank you for that. Margie75, a Christmas special that's family friendly. There's no propaganda. So this thing is going to do well for the BBC at Christmas then. And I bet you they've got 3 of them because they don't have much else.
Yeah.
Do you think they don't realise, though, do they not make the connection? When you have actual entertainment that isn't messaging, that doesn't have an agenda, that then goes on and gets 7 to 8 million viewers, then that's popular and that's the kind of thing to do more of. Because what they and organisations like them seem to do is when they go down those messaging routes and it's proven to be incredibly unpopular, they just double down and thinking more of it is going to in some way make people think differently. It's really stupid thinking, isn't it?
It's bad business sense completely.
Yeah.
Totally.
But then they've got the license fee, so they don't have to earn it, do they?
Yeah.
From Bad Wolf's point of view as well, it's insanity because they've just lost the production of Doctor Who, which could have earned them millions.
Yeah.
If they had stood up to RTD and said, we don't want any of this nonsense. This is the way we see it going. Let's just do it like we did it in 2006, 2007, 2008. Let's just do good science fiction. Let's use the Disney money properly. Strange. So it is Stuart Green. Stuart Green saying to us, the Bennett sister was shown in 30-minute episodes, which is interesting.
Oh.
Isn't it just? And it was getting those audience figures.
But that format's just not workable or successful, JT.
No.
So people keep telling me. Obviously, wrong, and I shall be using the other Bennett sister now in my defense to say, well, have you seen this? The problem is as well, not many people have. I only heard about it this week, really, because of the announcement from the BBC. Oh, there's going to be 3 Christmas specials produced by Bad Wolf. And that's when I thought, here we go. That's a good story, isn't it? How everybody else, the Christmas special is there. It's there. Bad Wolf were working on this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, don't forget, they've got the 2025 Christmas special in the can, so they could show that instead, couldn't they?
Yeah.
Because that was done. That was completed. We had so many channels telling us that as well. So, they can just push that out, can't they?
Did that fall down the back of the CT, did it? I'm sure it did, yeah.
Rocky Terry Lee's with us. Hi, mate. Regarding the Austin Powers 5, yes, because Austin Powers is coming back. Hurrah! I was a bit worried about that until, and I saw this as well, where Mike Myers has said fans do not want a lecture. They want the same silly, outrageous energy that made the films work. So good for Mike Myers. That means I can relax, and it means I might be able to go along and watch it and go, yeah, baby, all over again, like I did originally.
And if Mike Myers doesn't get cancelled, we're back in the right territory again. That'll be good, yeah. So.
Yeah.
The more films are successful without any of the leanings, the messages, copyright, critical drinker, all that crap, the more that are successful, the better.
Yeah.
That's where it needs to be.
And that readjustment will be done, hopefully. Yeah. So
over years, it's going to be, Zach Whitten, hello, Zach, how are you? In the 1980s, Madonna sang Papa Don't Preach. In 2026, I sing Russell Don't Preach. Too late for that. Raymond is saying to us, it's not a coincidence that the Doctor Who put out to tender hiatus news only came out after Tippy Toey was being aired. There were no RTD Bad Wolf sacked headlines. It was all about protecting RTD. You can read that into it very easily. I don't know if we talked about that, but it came just after Tippy Toey had finished. In fact, it was the day after or something, wasn't it, that the announcement was made?
Yeah.
Hello, Tony Farrell. How are you? Nice to see you. He got stuck on the M6. Never any good, that. Oh, Steve Braddock is saying to us, if Doctor Who had been made like the other Bennett sister, true to its roots, it would have done well. It even had the 30-minute cliffhangers. Yeah. I'm just so disappointed by this, guys, because this is another success from Bad Wolf. They have had lots of successes, including my favorite, as you know, Discovery of Witches, which is why I was banging the drum for when Discovery of Witches was in its second season to say the Bad Wolf should be producing the BBC now, because it was so good and it was so open to anybody to get into it, you know, and it had the witches and the warlocks and a bit of time travel in there, and it was great. And then they come along and they say to Russell, here you go. And he messes it all up. They must surely, I mean, like we talked about it the other week. Jane Chanter has said that wherever Russell goes, they'll go whenever he wants them. Are you insane? You're running a business.
Yeah.
You've just lost a major property that could have earned you millions.
They're just sycophants. They're overawed with him. They think he's the Messiah.
Yeah.
There's a lot of that
he's
going
just
on
a naughty boy. Yeah,
I knew that was coming. You didn't let me down.
Set me up with that one, yeah.
There's an awful lot of that happening at the moment with these far left lunatics, you know, with people bending the knee to them and thinking that there's some sort of messiah and that they're going to save anything. It's the far left that have got us into the problems in societies where we're having now. And when will people wake up and see this? You know, with their ideologies and their dictates and their complete and utter fantasies. I don't know about you lot, but I still live on Reality Island, not Fantasy Bloody Island. You know,
well,
and that's where they keep dragging us.
You said about films changing potentially. I mean, I never grew up with this, way too old. But, you know, you went to see Masters of the Universe, didn't you? And you said it was a really, really good film and it wasn't preachy. And if Mike Myers is doing that and has been, I don't know, I know it's a little bit of a controversial subject, but there's a certain film that's come out that's been banned in Germany. That Elon Musk put it out for free on X instead to get around all the censors, and it's number 2 in America now, called Citizen Vigilante, and it's getting a lot of comment. Apparently, not the best produced film or anything like that, but it's hard hitting, and it's all about the migration crisis, and it's dedicated at the end to all the people that have been victims of it. And the fact that this has been made has shown again that things are changing. It's been quite a startling week for that, I think.
It's just going to take a lot of time, because it's like the big ship, isn't it? And turning the ship, it takes ages to do, but it's got to start somewhere. And as long as people support the things that are not part of the whole agenda, then the message will get through, and they will have to. But it's going to hit Britain in years because we're so far behind Hollywood. You know. We really are. Some guy. Good to see you, some guy. RTD killed Doctor Who. It all started with Davros. It did. It went downhill from there. I hope Terry Nation Estate forces the BBC and a new production company to keep the same designs. Well, the thing about that is the Terry Nation Estate doesn't own the designs. That's a BBC design, because that was done by Raymond Cusick. So it's like K9. The character of K9 is owned by Bob Baker and Dave Martin's estates.
Yeah.
The look of it is owned by the BBC because it was a staff member called Tony Harding. So the Daleks are exactly the same. The characters, are basically Terry Nations, but the look of them was done by Raymond Cusick. Now I know there's some sort of 50-50 deal, But it does mean, as Philip Siegel said when he joined us on the show, that you can redesign the Daleks.
Yeah.
And they did do it in the reboot series as well, didn't they? With that awful Matt Smith episode.
Oh, God.
Oh, they were terrible, yeah. But at
Yeah.
least when they updated them for 2005 for Dalek, at least they looked really good in that. I think I have to say, very,
Yeah.
very kind of faithful to the original with a few tweaks, which worked
Yeah.
really well. But
Yeah. You can't play with the Daleks. The Dalek's a Dalek. It's as simple as that. You can't play with them too much without moving too far away from what it is. But I mean, you know, the Terry Nation estate will be very, very interested, of course. Thanks, Julie. She watched The Sheep Detective. My sister wants to see.
my wife wants to see that as well. I quite fancy it myself, actually. Yeah.
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 Yeah, I'll have to look into that. What was I saying? Well, I can't remember what I was saying.
About the Daleks.
Oh, the Daleks, yes.
Yeah.
So what we've got with the Daleks is the Terry Nation estate must be watching with interest any new version of Doctor Who, because the Daleks have to be renegotiated.
Yeah.
If they want to use them. And you have to use them. I don't care what you say. You have to have the Daleks in Doctor Who. But last time around, the Terry Nation estate allegedly turned around and said, that's fine. They've got to be in at least one episode every year for 20 years. And they were.
Yeah.
Even if they didn't speak, I'm talking Waters of Mars. There's your yearly tick box.
Yeah.
You know, and I think they'll do the same again this time around, saying, yeah, you can have them, but if you've got to have them in for every single series for as long as you go.
There was a rumour going around recently that the Daleks were going to be in Shooty's Series 3. Whether that was true or not, who knows? But I imagine that would cost Disney a fortune or BBC a fortune to get that used on Disney, I'd imagine.
I saw that. That rumour has just come out, because I can't remember the story. I'm sorry, Who viewers, I'm having an off day today, but I can't remember the story. But somebody said something. Was it Mike? Was it Mike Tucker or something? He didn't actually say. He didn't actually say they were definitely going to be in it. He just said, imagine if they had, or something like that. And the fandom, a small element of fandom, go, oh my God, we were robbed of this and this. No. There was no way they were going to be in the third series of Doctor Who. They're too problematic.
Yeah.
RTD would not have allowed their use in the. He would have gone on with exactly the same thing as he had been doing.
Oh, they would have had legs. That would have been it. Yeah, so.
There was no way they were going to do it, you know. Yeah. Oh, goodness me. There is a lot of you in the chat. Thank you for joining us. Doctor Who Universe. I remember wanting to turn off the fishy thing as soon as the non-binary they them showed up, yeah. And that was quite early on. Imagine the first thing a viewer is exposed to is that. Well, they were, weren't they, in the Star Beast? And that got absolutely roasted in the media.
Yeah.
Deservedly so.
Yeah. Yes, so lots going on. Hello to Lord Saber Crow. Nice to see you. If they do bring back the Daleks, they should be more terrifying with mechanical spider legs. Love the channel and the videos, JT. Well, thank you very much for that. The spider Daleks have been a thing, as we mentioned to Philip Siegel, who confirmed the use of them in any 1997 series. He was going to do that. I've never been a fan, though, Lord Saber Crow, I have to say. A Dalek is a Dalek. It doesn't need legs.
Yeah. That's one thing I remember that Russell got right. Apparently, Mike Tucker said this. I mentioned Mike Tucker already. That he said that when they were redesigning the new ones for 2005 to choose all the best bits, and they did that. And that was one thing that Russell actually got right by suggesting that, because it works really well, you know.
Yeah. But as Ian has said before as well, that first series back in 2003, 4 for production, that was screened in 2005. Russell had competent professionals around him keeping control of him.
Yeah.
He was reined in.
Things.
Yeah.
He was.
Yeah.
And he wasn't as cocky in 2003 and 2004 as he is now. He wasn't as arrogant. He wasn't as powerful. So he had to have people like Mal Young around him, and even Julie Garner around him to say, no, let's do it like this, you know, because they were so, this has got to be right, otherwise it doesn't run.
Well, that's it. If he started off as Shooty type Doctor for season 1, it would never have got anywhere past season 1. Really, let's be honest.
It absolutely wouldn't have done. Could you imagine 2005's opening episode? Instead of Rose, it was Space Babies.
Space Babies, yeah. Oh, okay.
John Keeley, it's good to see you. Thank you for your super chat. Good evening, gentlemen. Hope all are well. Sorry for my lateness. I've had an unexpected hospital visit, mate. I hope you're okay. I hope you're home now. Hospitals. Ugh. Yeah. What big Who news have I missed? we're just going through lots of stuff at the moment. At the moment, we're talking about Bad Wolf, John, and how they have announced this week that the other Bennett sister, which is their other big show, in fact, their big show at the moment, is getting 3 BBC Christmas specials, 30 minutes each. That's an hour and a half, which is more than Doctor Who got. And
You
how
should call it
popular
Atrocious
is.
Wolf rather than Bad Wolf, to be honest, I think.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
But we've got lots more coming up for you, John, so stay with us. Raymond is saying, Spider Daleks would have cost a fortune. I can see why a Fox executive looked at those plans and said that. Yeah, I'm not a fan. I wasn't a fan when I first saw them before the TV movie came out. What was that, 95, 94, 95? We saw them first? No,
Yeah,
thank you.
the Amblin test footage they had, yeah. I quite liked it when they did the comics. They had, though, in the monthly, they had a cliffhanger with the Spider Daleks arriving at the end, which was quite nice for like that.
Yeah, true.
If you remember that, yeah.
Doctor Who 1963, I would have had Daleks constantly in my version, but you have to focus on 1 or 2 factions, flesh it out, make it feel like a true empire, and no cringe dialogue that devalues them. I still say to people like Canal Plus, who own the movie Daleks and the Cushing movies, they could do a series there, and we'd watch it based on those Daleks with the Terry Nation estate approval, of course. But they could get in there and do that. Sod the BBC, who would not be very happy. But this is the point. The show right now is not in production. It's on hiatus. Get your stuff out there, people. You don't need to pander to the BBC. In fact, Canal Plus, why don't you just go and tender for Doctor Who and bring the whole thing together? I don't know. A lot of people, I'm going to say this right now, a lot of people, from what we hear from our friends in the industry, not even bothered about Doctor Who at the moment, or even thinking about what to do with tendering. More of that as we get through to it, of course. Steve Braddock, JT, the 2 biggest hit dramas this year have been Small Profits and The Other Bennett Sister, because they were both actually well made. If you build it, they will come. Good point, Stephen. Small Profits was a smash hit for the BBC, wasn't it? With what's his name, Paul?
Mackenzie Crook, yeah, Mackenzie Crook, yeah.
And his production company, to the point where they have got a second series now as well.
Yeah. The lead actor, and I've forgotten his name. He's very good in it. I've forgotten his name now. The guy with the big beard. Yeah.
It's got a good ensemble cast, really, hasn't it?
Yeah.
It was brilliant. I watched it because Stephen was saying, "Oh, you've got to watch this. You've got to watch this," and we watched it in one sitting. Me and my family on the iPlayer thing at my family's house, at my mum's house. So yeah, I really enjoyed it. Really fun. Smash it. I don't mind having a variety of Daleks as long as you keep the baseline Daleks. Says Carwyn Morris. Yeah, it's all.
I think the previous comment. I think Dalek factions. I mean, everybody's opinion's valid, of course. That's what we do here, isn't it? At the end of the day, everybody can give an opinion. Personally, I think the Dalek factions and Dalek into fighting and all that kind of thing's probably been done to death now.
Yeah.
Since Resurrection, really, they've been doing that, and I'd just like to see Daleks doing what Daleks do, doing it really well, and the faction stuff, fighting each other is all the protagonists then are just sort of like bystanders watching the thing kick off, and it's.
Andy, thank you for your comment. Moffat has done a few Doctor Who interviews recently. He did the Whoniverse show this week. I think he wants to be included in any future projects. Yeah,
with a lovely tea of coffee. Yeah.
I didn't watch it. I've heard some of the stuff that he had to say about it. I would just say, forget him, move on. Problem being, get Studio Canal to do it, then we can have the movie tie-in. Sat Wittin, Doctor Who is on indefinite hiatus. It is, and they don't like you saying it. A lot of them are in denial. And next, thank you for your super chat. Ian, news on the Highlander movie. Not only do we have Christopher Lambert coming back in a cameo role, plus we might be getting Clancy Brown and Adrian Paul.
Oh, wow. Okay. That's quite interesting. Clancy Brown being the Kurgan, the baddie from the first Highlander film, which was the best, and Adrian Paul was the equivalent immortal in the TV series, which was actually very good. It was filmed partly in, I think, Canada and partly in France.
Yeah.
Thank you for that, Lex. Is it true, says Funky, that Grant Morrison said he's planning to put in a tender, or is that just other channels type hype? It is to an extent, but no, Grant Morrison this week was on it's not really newsworthy at all, in my opinion. He did what other people are saying. He said he didn't like the way the Gatwa series went, and that if he was going to do it. Does Grant Morrison have a production company? No. So he would have to find a partner to do it. So everybody, well, not everybody, certain people at the moment, like Moffat, like Grant Morrison, have come out to talk about this. One thing it does is it keeps the show in the fans' eye, but funks tend to jump on, oh, that person's got it, or that. I mean, as I said last week, I've already had a discussion last week and again this week from people, no offense, but they are in America, who won't believe that the tender process hasn't started yet, and that it's all done and dusted. You know, it's on its way and it's going to be back at the end of next year. And I've said, no, it's not. You're going to have a long wait for this thing. It's going to take 3 to 5 years at least, if done properly.
Even if it was, though, the response to it is so lukewarm, no one's interested. So you're gonna have to wait a long time anyway for to get anyone thinking, well, we'll do it now because it's the right time. Because they're not going to do it now, are they? Let's be honest.
No,
They'd be crazy to do it now, would they? It's toxic. It really is.
it's got to have a real. The other thing about Grant Morrison as well is, and some of you are actually saying this in the chat to us, he is actually quite far left. Some of you are saying he's woke as hell. Yes, there is that element to it as well, and they're going to have to be careful. And just because he used to write some really good comics stories, it doesn't mean he's the same man. We've seen this with RTD. I would want a really strict interview process, basically, to say, what would you do? You know, Lord Saber Crow, another question off topic, lads. With Blake 7 looking to return, what other series would you like to see return? Mine, Sapphire and Steel. My dad made me watch the repeats in the 90s. Right, Lord Saber Crew, from my point of view, never ever go back to Sapphire and Steel. It doesn't need it. Those 6 adventures coming soon-ish, to Who's Views, don't need remade. They don't need recast. They don't need to be rebooted or put in the modern world. No, leave them. It was a one-off. Some things, in my eyes, Lord Saber Crow, should never ever be rebooted. With Blake 7, I'll believe it when I see it.
I think that's another one though. Should be left where it was, because it was fine as it was. It doesn't need recreated, redone again, does it? Let's be honest. And it wouldn't work. You've said this before. It wouldn't work now. It worked then, but it wouldn't work now. Where we are, would it? Let's be honest.
No, and you know, I've already seen it. Remember, I was always worried on our Blake 7 review shows. I was always worried about certain elements of alleged fans creeping into Blake 7. They have started to come into Blake 7. I was having a huge row with some idiots who had got onto one of the Blake 7 Facebook pages, and myself and several others said, with her suggestions, no, that's not Blake 7. We don't want it, because she did all the usual stuff, didn't she? Blake would be a woman. Blah 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 blah, all the usual woke nonsense, and myself and several other Blake said, you know, no, this is not what Blake 7's about, and if there is going to be a new version, it has to be the same or similar to the original. You can't just do things because you can, because it ticks a box for the likes of you, and then somebody else came along and said, well, why don't you just bugger off to somewhere else and go and ruin some other franchise, because we don't want you here, which I thought was very true. Basically, you know, they don't want them in the Blake 7 franchise, but if any reboot, and because it's got various people from BF involved with it, of course, they'll probably go after that audience because they know that they can. Oh, I get tired with it all. So I don't know. From my point of view, Lord Saber, I don't want to see anything returning. Some things have its time, and they should be left there.
Do something original. That's what we want, really, to be honest. Yeah.
Wouldn't that be brilliant? Wouldn't that be fantastic if something came along and rocked our world?
Yeah.
You know, the last original thing I think people did, and correct me if I'm wrong, everybody, that I can remember was Humans.
Oh yeah.
All right. Yeah.
Because that was sort of sci-fi AI, a world in the future, but not too distant, wasn't it? Do you remember?
Yeah.
About now, probably. That was original.
Ultraviolet. I enjoyed Ultraviolet.
That was before Humans, though. That was years before, that was the 90s.
Yeah.
So I think the last thing would have been that. I haven't seen anything really original since then. Matthew Pounder, Grant Morrison is another Wokey. Doctor Who 1963. Well, they don't need to fight each other, but different dialects exist anyway throughout the whole show, so might as well keep it. Steve Andrews remembering, I recently watched Sapphire and Steel on ITVX and Timeslip as well. Gosh, Timeslip, there you go.
I love Time Slip. Can we review Time Slip as well? That'd be quite nice.
Don't think I've ever seen it.
David Graham's in it as well. It's quite nice. Yeah.
We'll have to look at all this as we go through. Some guy is saying, hi, JT, what do you think of spin-offs going forward? Do we need them or focus on the main show? Much as I like Sarah Jane and Torchwood, if the BBC's title budget focused Doctor Who, we could have got season 3 of Disney Who, if no Fish Show. Okay, so what do I think of spin-offs? Waste of time. It's a waste of time. What people have got to understand, and guys can correct me or what I've added to this, Doctor Who in the United Kingdom right now is looked at by the British public as a joke, and they do not care about it. So why would they care about its spin-offs? If you do not have a main show, you cannot have a spin-off, and you cannot go to movies like some fans are saying they can. Who's going to go to a film about a dead show? No one, especially the state it's in Britain now. So what any new production company is going to have to do, and I've said this continually, and I will continue to say it during this hiatus period, it's a lot of hard work, because you have to bring back the majority of fandom. You have to bring back the British public. You have to be presenting Doctor Who as a science fiction family adventure show. It's a lot of work to do. And then I would say you have to establish the main show for at least 5 years to build up any decent characters to carry a spin-off, because you're not going to be able to bring anyone back from the original series, and you should avoid, like the plague, the reboot, in my eyes, guys.
Yeah. I mean, as much as I love the Sarah Jane Adventures, where it's a great series, it only worked because the series was in a good place. I agree with you completely. But my trouble is with spin-offs, because it's not. Yeah, Liz, exactly. Because spin-offs, really, she's highly watchable, but you miss the Doctor in these spin-offs where the Doctor's not in it. I watch Doctor Who for the Doctor and that universe, and that's more important to me. So having a spin-off, I'd rather not watch or listen to. Like Big Finish, I've done it to death for so many spin-offs, and the Doctor never turns up, or he does if they want to try and sell some of them. You know what I mean? Kind of thing.
I just constantly refer to. They did it in Torchwood, didn't they? They were doing that.
Yeah.
But I mean, what characters would they spin off from at the minute? Would they do Donna's confused son and his experiences?
Resting Bitch Face got her own series, definitely. Yeah. So.
Yeah, definitely. But or I don't know, that lad that was in unit that went around on the Segway with machine guns built into it, the struggles he has at school, you know.
Oh yeah. That's had CBeebies show, definitely. Yes.
You're not going to do.
I have no recollection of what you're talking about at all.
The little boy, what's he? I've forgotten his name. He was a scientific advisor at unit. He was a boy genius. Forgotten his name. Yeah.
And he went around on a Segway, and when Sutek arrived, his Segway, like the woman with the rockets in the wheelchair, his Segway had machine guns. I mean, there you're talking about a school-age child firing machine guns, for God's sake. But
don't remember.
And Shirley Ann Bingham with a wheelchair, she could like a spin-off like Ironside, couldn't she? That kind of thing as well.
So at the moment, any new production company, some guy, they have to focus mainly on Doctor Who, sod the spin-offs. You can't do it. There's just no way. We've got to be realistic. There's no way. The show is in such an unhealthy position. Kieran Colley, 1958. Hello, JT, Ian and Paul. Hope you're all having a great weekend. And to you as well, mate. It's nice to see you. Thank you for joining us this Sunday evening. Magic Stew. Good evening, all. I appreciate not everyone likes AI. However, there is a pretty good fan-made What If trailer if Rose was officially the Doctor, and it features a modern K9 as well. Oh, God. They're going to try and avoid that. Thanks, Magic Stew. What else we got? Margie75 is saying, hopefully the hiatus lasts at least 5 years to undo the damage RTD has done to the show. That's what I mean. It's a lot of work. It's a real lot of work now to... There's too much damage.
Talking of AI, has anyone seen there's a wonderful AI sequence without the Doctor, but it's got the TARDIS on Earth from Unearthly Child at the end of part 4 of that, going into the Daleks, and it's an AI version of them traveling from Earth to Skaro, and it looks absolutely amazing, and it ends on the cliffhanger with the radiation flashing at the end. It's really, really nice. I'll need to send the link to you later on tonight.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Really good. You like it? Yeah.
I've seen a very, very good... Sorry, JT, go on.
I was going to say Michael Disney is, bless him, still hoping for Tripod Series 3, which of course was one of the casualties of Mr. Michael Grade back in 1985. Yeah.
Good luck with that one. Yeah.
I know, it's never going to happen, is it? Although Disney apparently, don't they, have the rights for a movie, a series of 3 movies, and they've been on and off and on and off and on and off for years now. But they apparently have that there in production hell. So maybe one day they'll get that sorted. with the streaming and everything now, maybe they could do the movie plan and just do several series, guys. But it's Disney.
You don't know, do you?
Yeah.
Hey, what were you going to say?
I stumbled across a short 30, 60 second, maybe 90-second little video. Oh dear, of
Shocked. I'm shocked. Radio, I'm shocked.
A cartoon. It was very much cartoon style, but it was quite amusing. Pertwee and some ogrons going round Audley House, and Pertwee shooting some ogrons, and then some ogrons watching him from the bushes, and putting a sign on the side of a little cellar access saying "wine cellar" spelt CELLUR. And Pertwee's like, "Oh, wine!" So he opens the doors. They push him in,
trap. Yeah,
and the sign falls off, and it says "cesspit," and then they're just chuckling to them.
No.
If I can re-find that, I'll send the link to you there. But that was
that
quite
sounds brilliant. Yeah, love it.
That's
amusing.
quite funny. I like that one. What we got here? I can't believe this from Radium. How are you, mate? Staff Baron Steel. I've never heard of it. Oh, you're pulling my leg, aren't you? You're pulling my leg. You have to be. And Andy is saying, let me know if you're not. Blake 7 was. Oh, I'm still here. Can you see me?
No, we can just see your.
We hear
you
you,
can
okay.
hear me. It's this bloody thing again. It's the connection again. But never mind. Blake 7 was ripped off blatantly by Farscape. Lex Kane, thank you for your super chat. My favorite tech action show was Bugs on a Saturday. I never saw Bugs. It was the time when I was out. Never got to see that one. Lots of you doing some memories now. Sorry?
Had the guy from Neighbours in, didn't it?
Is that the guys in Waters of Mars as well? That actor, I've forgotten his name.
Kyle MacLachlan. Or, no, that's not Kyle MacLachlan.
Oh no, that's not Kyle MacLachlan. No,
There's somebody from Neighbours. A
Neighbours.
tall, curly-haired, blonde-haired guy was in it.
Terry Leptal is saying to us, whomever takes on this poison chalice needs to work out exactly why they are making it and for whom. In the world of streaming, who is your audience? How do you exploit the brand successfully? Yeah, that's true. That's true. What else have we got? What else have we got? Oh, gosh, lots of you in the chat with us on this one now. Thank you so much. Connor Sullivan, hello, mate. How are you? Funny enough, War Between the Land and the Sea had more viewing figures than Doctor Who. Yeah, for a little while it did. We catalogued all that, didn't we? When we went through it and we did our reviews.
Not for long though, did it?
Yeah. Didn't they?
Mark Reeves for a super chat saying Modern K9 is trans and was originally a cat. Jess, I didn't know this. Jess is saying to us, did you know that the BBC owns the right to tripods? I didn't know that. Do they? I didn't know that. If I don't know, Jess. I'm going to look into that. I don't know. I mean, it was such a long time ago when they took the rights. I think they would have fallen by now. But I do know that Disney was preparing some sort of movie. They were going to do a movie. I had heard that. Yeah. Mischief 23 saying, leave the tripods alone. And Denny Ringus, good to see you. Hi, everyone. Happy Sunday. Hopefully everyone is doing well. Yeah,
not bad. Not bad. Yeah.
Not bad at all. Thank you for that. Yeah, interesting stuff, this, isn't it? You know, Mudcrap is saying to us, Blake 7 equals Farscape, completely different tone over arcing. I never saw that one. Never saw Farscape, never seen it ever. Again, it was at a time when I was just out all the time and working.
It never appealed to me because I think it used a lot of Frank Oz puppets, didn't it?
Yeah, was it made in Australia as well, I think, wasn't it?
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah.
All right, okay. Yeah.
It had Ben Browder came across and was in one of the Matt Smith Doctor Who's, wasn't he?
Yeah, he's in the one that's the cowboy one. Was it called
Western
called Mercy? Yeah.
That's the one. Yeah, he was the human lead in Farscape.
Yeah, the sheriff. Yeah.
Was he?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. That's interesting. Okay. And I hope Ian Delby's still with us, because at the top of the show he said I was going to watch the World Cup match South Africa versus Canada at the same time as your wonderful vlog, but then I said sod it. What's Canada or South Africa ever done anything for me? No, exactly. So
that's a very good point. Yes.
I like that. Thank you very much. I hope you're still with us and I hope you're enjoying the show. Farsight saying about the Daleks. The Daleks should be limited. Bring them back only when you have a novel idea for them. They've been overused like the Borg were in Star Trek. But as I say, Farsight, part of that was down to the fact that the nation estate made them.
Yeah.
You know, they made the BBC show at least one Dalek a year.
Yeah.
And if you want to sign them, you have to say yes to the nation state, don't you?
Yeah.
In fairness, they weren't daft, were they? They were protecting their property and doing the best for their client. I don't know who their client is now because.
Well, it's the nation state. It's his kids, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Yeah, so they get to. I mean, you hear various things about it, saying they don't necessarily. I mean, this is the problem with when you inherit. I'm going to use that word. When you inherit things like the Daleks and stuff, part of the problem is that it's like where the Tolkien estate is. New generations just take the money.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. They don't value the product, do they? Really, to be honest. Yeah.
I'm just going to exit and come back in a second, guys. So if we can just continue talking about that, I'm going to try and reboot this camera.
Okay, I feel a tangent coming on, Ian.
Oh, tangent!
I bet now we'll get into trouble. Let's not do that. Okay.
How do you feel about Scotland in the World Cup, my friend?
Don't get me started on that. The Brazil match was a nightmare, I have to say, and I'm not a football fan, but we're lucky it wasn't 4-0, to be fair, because that second goal was rejected by the ref, but it was a foul. But I was lucky it wasn't more than it was. I think, as much as I'm not really a football fan, I am Scottish. I think Scotland initially did quite well, but they were terrible with Brazil, I have to say. But it's quite a tough team to play against, I have to say. But you guys are doing okay. You're still in the World Cup, but not for long, probably. But
will you be throwing your voice behind England now, then, as in camera?
No. I'm voting for Brazil now. That's me. So yeah.
That's one of the odd things, though, isn't it? Because when Scotland have been in something that we haven't, we've generally thrown our voices behind the Scots. But clearly, we need to stop that.
Now, what happens is it's like when the Olympics is on, and like say Andy Murray was doing really well. He's always a British tennis player, but when he's doing really badly, he's a Scottish tennis player. You know what I mean? So that's that's what happens. Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how well England will do, but to be quite honest, I'm not that bothered. I'm more of a club football. Leeds United, as I mentioned before. I really don't give a stuff about the World Cup. We've got quite a few players in different teams, and Canada is managed by one of our ex-managers. Uruguay was managed or is managed by the deity that is Marcelo Bielsa. He was a Leeds manager and greatly revered still in Leeds. But
I think we better change the subject because we're speaking too much about football. We'll probably lose half a dozen subs doing this, so let's not do that. Okay, so, we should perhaps move on to continue with what we're talking about. So
I do apologise. Yeah, this Dalek thing. I love the Daleks. I love the Daleks, but I don't think forcing that's poor negotiation on the part of the BBC. I think you have a prized asset. Doctor Who's got several. Daleks are probably the biggest one, but you don't overdo it. If you overdo it, then it lacks impact, really. And
what the trouble is, though, with modern Who, and you'll probably hear this, they never have a proper story. Back in the day in classic Who, you'd have like on Planet of the Daleks or whatever, or Day of the Daleks. Something going on. There's a proper story, but now they're almost in the background. They're second fiddle to the master or Missy, like Cyberman, or that kind of thing. You never have a proper story. I have to say this, and this is probably going to shock people. I think actually Chibnall, when he wrote the Daleks and his stuff with Jodie, Shane was a Jodie episode, he worked the Daleks quite well. The first two episodes he did, the Resolution and the Revolution one, I think it was quite good. And it worked quite well in the context of the story. And it's quite a good Dalek story, but it wasn't, in New Who generally, they don't actually treat the Daleks well enough. They don't have a proper story. I think, to be honest, it was never the same after Dalek. They couldn't really top that, to be fair, because that was so good.
They couldn't. But, and I think they did, little things as well. We went through 26 years of original Doctor Who, and you had Daleks with all sorts of different liveries, didn't you? You had your silver ones, the silver with the black domes, the black Daleks. The gunmetal grey ones, which are my personal favourite, Day of the Daleks, Planet of the Daleks, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But even the silver ones and everything else, and they're sort of like metallic-y, powdery blue that were in Destiny and stuff like that. But when not mentioning the white ones, but when they brought them back and made them bronze, they just stuck with that. And apart from Dalek Sec, we're not talking about the paradigm, but apart from Dalek Sec, they just never changed it, and that was a huge mistake. I thought they were just
You'll agree with me, but Dalek Sec is absolutely gorgeous. Dalek prop, it really is. And I'm
Oh,
so
yeah.
jealous. Yeah. Is Dalek Sec still in your house, or has he gone? He's got left home and got a job? What's going on?
I'm just looking at him. You can say hello to him. There he is.
Hello, Dalek Sec. Nice to see you. You look gorgeous as ever.
TARDIS wall. There we are. So I don't normally show that TARDIS wall, do I? But yeah, the Dalek Sec is looking rather fine.
I've been watching the rest of season 21 box set, the Blu-ray that came out a couple months ago, and I'm nearly finished the set now. Thank God for that. But I watched Resurrection a couple of days ago again, and the Daleks in that are in a shocking state. They're so knackered, they're so broken. They can hardly move their dome. They can hardly do anything at all, and they're just really kind of.
I mean, they hadn't been used for 5 years, had they? And you'd think that at least spend a little bit of money on refurbing them. I mean, it always irritated me how the Dalek heads never sat on the necks properly, and you saw from the vertical structure there was a gap, and then below the neck rings there was also a bit of a big gap as well, and just seemed to me like it was just plain sloppy, to be quite honest.
Because it's amazing when you go back further, like Planet of the Daleks or Genesis, wherever the Daleks look immaculate in that. They really do, and that's not that long ago, really, when you think about it. You know.
No. I'd like to see a redesigned Dalek prop that takes them away from the new series design now, but yeah.
Well, I always think they should have done, and they did a little bit with New Who, that like R2D2, they could do little things, like things would come out and you'd have like a different attachment or whatever, do different things, like that, and they could be more kind of multi-practical kind of thing, but I mean, that was a little bit
the idea with the new paradigm, wasn't it? And that stupid thing at the back was supposed to come up and spin round and give different appendages, and never appeared ever, even with CGI. I like the fact that the new series Daleks could rotate in the middle. That was quite a nice. Good. That was smart. That sorting out the stairs, and the fact that they could do that was really, really good. But I mean, apart from that, they were just the same. And Daleks always changed. Daleks always advanced. The design always changed. Original Daleks, Dalek Invasion of Earth, you had the bigger bases and the discs on the back. Then you got the vertical slats, which were always supposed to be for power collection, I think, or something like that. And of course the different liveries and everything else, and the different appendages on the arm. Sometimes that one in the chase and the flamethrowers and stuff like that. But this is just, I don't know. There was a little bit of innovation.
There's one in the chase that makes me laugh. There's a bit in the chase. I think trying to find the Doctor and company in the city of Mechanus, and one looks like it's got a giant plunger. It's like it's been doing some DIY and it's hurt itself with a hammer. It's going, you know what I mean, like in cartoon form. It looks ridiculous. It really does.
What about the Dalek in the spaceship where it's trying to work out the coordinates and it's going?
Oh, the thick Dalek. Yeah.
That would have definitely been more suited with the Jodie era, I think.
Yes, yeah.
It would have definitely matched her. I didn't. You said Chibnall wrote the Daleks better than RTD, and arguably you're probably right. One or two of those Christmas episodes certainly had a pace to them, but they ultimately you knew where it ended up, and it ended up with those ridiculous fake Daleks. The ones, and it was just. I like the face-off with the military. When they came with the tank or the little mini tank and things like that. But the fact was, I would have loved that to have been a traditional Dalek rather than that ridiculous.
What it did was it worked in the context of the story, because unlike the Paradigm Daleks, they didn't work because they were just kind of shoehorned in. But at least you had this creature that was found, and then the creature made its own casing, blah blah blah. That worked quite well. It's quite a nice, a new way of telling the story about the Dalek and all that kind of stuff. Although they kind of paid homage to Planet Spiders about the Dalek on her back and all that kind of stuff, but it's got a real imagination to it a little bit. It's just a shame it's like Joji episode, because it could be better if it was a Matt Smith one or something like that. But I think narratively the redesign worked in the two episodes, and then they got destroyed in the classic Who Knew Who Daleks continued sort of thing.
Yeah. And you mentioned the Series 21 box set. I'm almost at the end of that myself. I'm currently in the classic, which is Caves of Androzani.
I just finished that. I'm on Twin Dilemma now, and I've forgotten. I've watched the CGI special effects version and the old version, and it's such a good story, Caves. It really is. I've forgotten how good it was. Really, honestly,
it really is, isn't it? I'm partway through episode 3. Tear his arms out slowly. It's just fantastic. But I like what they did with the Magma Beast, and I think it works because it's in the shadows.
Right.
Oh, he's up to go now.
I don't know what is going on tonight. I do apologize to everybody watching. I don't know what's happening, but the StreamYard, the platform we use, closed down on me, closed my camera, and then it was closing down completely. Don't know what's going on there. We now look like we've lost Paul. So we're obviously, I don't know what is going on with the technology this evening. I just don't understand it at all.
You'll have somebody blaming the heat.
It's not that hot today, surely.
No.
Sorry about that. I do apologize, everybody. We're going to get back on track now. Farsight's giving us a super chat here saying, "You who used the Cybermen poorly too." So that'll mean more to you. Paul's having technical issues now as well.
Yeah, the Cybermen became a little bit overly used, especially through Moffat as well. They just seem to be at every season climax, and they did the same with Whittaker as well, to the point where I think the Cybermen had destroyed virtually all trace of humanity. And all that road ultimately led to a portal that took them to Gallifrey. And that's where the Master gave them the bodies of all the Cybermen, and we got the Cyber Lords. It was an absolute nonsense piled on top of a nonsense. It was ridiculous, really.
Right. Okay. Thanks, guys, for holding the fort. Let's try and get back on track now with the show.
There was something on that tangent, was there?
I cannot apologize enough, everybody, for that. I am so sorry. I have no idea what is going on. I think we're going to have to start looking, guys, at how we broadcast, because StreamYard, you are unreliable. I have had so many problems with StreamYard over the last few months, and I am sick of it. You are charging me through the nose for this service, and it's crap. It's getting worse and worse and worse. So I'm going to be looking around now and taking my business elsewhere. If any of you know of any different StreamYard type things we can use, please do email me, whosviews1@gmail.com, because we can't carry on like this. It's absolutely ridiculous. Graham, it's good to see you. How are you? Right, so let's get on with this. Right, where was I going with this? Yes, okay. So we've just been talking about the other Bennett sister as well. Something else that came to light this week as well is, it made me laugh. Why is it that Star Trek, a certain minority of Star Trek and Doctor Who fans insist on having some sort of crossover? I'm talking about that this week was brought in from Cultbox. Doctor Who and Star Trek showrunners discussed possible crossover. Now, this is something we actually talked about a couple of years ago here on Who's Views on Headlines, because they met at the Comic-Con, didn't they? So it was RTD and...
Whatever his name is. I can't remember his name. Yeah.
Him
from Star Trek. Yeah,
and the other guy didn't look interested at all. He looked as thick as mince. I don't think he even knew who RTD was. He just seemed to be
Doctor Who was,
yeah. But let's get into this from Cultbox, because they have been saying Star Trek Strange New Worlds co-runners Akiva Goldsman and Henry Alonso Myers revealed that a Doctor Who Star Trek crossover spent years in discussions with Doctor Who showrunner RTD. Well, how could it be? Because RTD only came back to Doctor Who in 23. We were trying with RTD to do a crossover, Goldsman explained to Awards Radar. We were for years. Again, these are the near misses, but we got not unclose and we had some really cool conversations about it. And so certainly in our view, I mean, Pelia traveled in the TARDIS, why not? Now, who is Pelia, I hear you say? Well,
who is Pelia?
Yeah, Pelia was this character in one of the Star Treks.
Strange New World.
Long history. She's done many things. She's had many adventures, Maya said, of the long-lived Lathanite. Goldsman replied, that's right. At the suggestion that Starfleet is canon in Doctor Who, after the Doctor suggested to Ruby that they should visit them someday in the season 1 episode Space Babies. Earlier in the Star Trek Strange New Worlds 2025 series, the Doctor's TARDIS is seemingly trapped with the USS Enterprise inside the star-eating monstrosity and the Cell Hat who ate its tail. Doctor Who and Star Trek did unite for 2 mobile game crossovers from East Side Games at announced that blah, 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 blah. I mean, what is the fascination? Why are people so fascinated with Star Trek and Doctor Who crossing over? I've never understood it, and I never will.
Me neither, but all we would get would be Shooty kissing Picard or something like that. That's all you get, you know.
It was interesting when that Lanthanite character mentioned it. It was just a throwaway comment in one of the episodes, and said she spent some time in a box or some traveling in a time traveling in a box with a doctor, and that was it. Yeah. But you just it was enough for you to notice it, really. But Next Generation had a time traveler that had come, and his spacecraft was I think he was a time traveler. The spacecraft was certainly bigger on the inside, anyway.
Yeah.
As well.
So that was this character, wasn't it? One of the characters implied that she once spent time with a time traveling doctor.
Mm.
I mean, the only thing that I know that Star Trek and Doctor Who have in common is that they're both out of production now because they were both driven into the ground by far left lunatics from the industry.
Yeah.
Kurtzman, that's it. Thanks, Chris Graham. Kurtzman.
That's it.
Or as Funky is saying, Klutzman. Kurtzman from PVFS. Yeah. It's a horrible idea to cross over for Rick Storm. Robert Payne, I hate the idea of a crossover. It's so needless. I don't understand it.
It smacks of desperation, doesn't it? Let's be honest. It really does. Yeah.
It does. And I just don't understand why some fans are so intent on the idea. Why does everything have to either be explained or crossed over? Why can't people just enjoy different things for what they stand for?
And it's just dead cheesy as well, isn't it? Let's be honest. It just is.
It's like musical episodes as well, isn't it? They have to do it for some reason, and you don't know why, because they're always, with the exception of possibly Buffy the Vampire Slayer, shit.
Yeah. We've got Digby saying, lovely to have you back. The Tangent Twins were excellent. They need a slot of the Who's Views Christmas special. The nights are drawing in now. All that's sorted. All that's coming. So don't worry about it. I've got it all sorted there. Andy, we've got this from Andy. Doctor Who and Sapphire and Steel would have been a wonderful crossover. No. I can't stand the idea of crossovers. Why? Why are fans?
Have you seen the Family Guy and Simpsons crossover? It's bloody terrible. It really is.
Yeah, I just don't understand it. It's an American thing. Maybe it's because I'm purely British. I just don't like crossovers. What is the point? I just don't understand it. Chris Kaz is saying 2 different fandoms or 2 different universes from Problem Being. And Chris Kaz, there has already been a comics crossover a few years ago. It wouldn't work either. The Doctor Who is a totally different beast to Star Trek.
I know they did a Tom Baker Cyberman Captain Kirk crossover one, and then the Matt Smith one as well. I think something like that, yeah, with Picard, comic strip wise. I think they did.
There is something of an obsession with certain.
Yeah, there was a comic. I know there was a comic strip. Again, it just didn't interest me.
Yeah,
it's not a healthy obsession, though. I don't think, but there are some authors that are obsessed.
Yeah, it just never. They just don't interest me. They don't interest me, these sorts of things. Absolutely, I just don't understand why fans are so obsessed with it. But I thought that was an interesting news story this week because, as I said, the only thing I could think of that Doctor Who has in common with Star Trek right now is that they're both out of production for exactly the same reason. Shed millions and millions and millions of viewers around the world. Alienated fan bases, their core fan bases, are both now in the toilet, and both had 2 egotistical far left maniacs running them. Yeah, that's the only thing. I just don't get it. I don't get it. Crossovers. But I thought that was an interesting story, and just made me laugh at the time. I was like, why? I'll tell you something else that made me laugh this week as well on the media. Why, again, why are people not honest? Doctor Who's return gets a first look at the new Doctor, said CBR. Doctor Who officially begins new era with first look at next Doctor, says Collider.com.
So who's the next Doctor? It's certainly not the fugitive Doctor, for God's sake, surely not.
Yes, that's what they are talking about. Why are people dishonest? Why are they just so interested in clickbait? Why are they not telling the truth? Those headlines are disgraceful. They should go to trades descriptions because it's not a new Doctor. It's not a new Doctor. In fact, it's not even the Doctor. It's the Joe Martin thing. And why the hell is she, allegedly, as a Doctor, holding a gun? The Doctor does not hold guns. The Doctor does not use guns. I don't get it. But this is the week, of course, this week, that this nonsense from BBC Studios has been launched. It's called Circuit Breaker. We spoke about it on the show before. I am sure none of you people out there in the chat will be buying this. It's hugely expensive. It's one of these multi-platform things that the BBC seem to think are the next big thing and continue to churn out year after year after year. And this time around, they've gone for Joe Martin as this fugitive Doctor. And it's ridiculous. It's you have to buy Doctor Who magazine, you have to buy CDs, you have to buy a Blu-ray, you have to buy audio, the usual multi-platform crap.
The
And here they
Blu-ray
are.
thing. So I was going to say the Blu-ray thing's bizarre because the Blu-ray is just a rehash of a TV episode which is in, and Classic Who mainly, and it's
One classic.
yeah.
It's Genesis of the Daleks again.
Yeah.
But what is the point of that Blu-ray though? Because it's just rehashing her episodes, and all their episodes have been reproduced many times before. So what is the point of that?
I've no idea. No
It's
idea. But
And who's buying that if you've already got everything done about 6 times before? It's crazy.
You've got to be particularly sad to want to buy most of that.
Yeah.
But JT, for your benefit, because obviously it was during the Whittaker era, which you didn't watch, sensible fellow. In the Jadoon episode where she first appeared, she was very into the guns and a little bit aggressive. She knocked a Jadoon officer onto the floor for some reason and then snapped his horn off.
It's not the Doctor then, is it? It's
Your
not the
message,
Doctor.
yeah.
I mean, again, I'm going to show you this. This is just pure clickbait. It suggests to these desperate fans right now that are really desperate for any news on a new series, because some of them, as I've said before, are insistent that the series is coming back in 2028. It is not going to be on in 2028. It probably will not be on in 2029 either. But look at these headlines. Doctor Who's return gets a first look at the new Doctor. Doctor Who officially begins new era with first look at next Doctor. Collider.com, CBR, you should be ashamed of yourselves. That is giving them hope when there is not. And they click on that thinking, oh, there's a new production. Oh, there's a new Doctor. Oh, it is coming back next year. I can prove all those naysayers like whose view's wrong. It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous.
They should have said something to Joe Martin about that hat, because she looks like she'd be a pimp in Starsky and Hutch. I'm sorry, really.
Well, they have, and this has all been covered actually in the new edition of Doctor Who magazine, which came out in the UK this Thursday with this cover. So this is going to appeal to the masses, isn't it?
Of course, yeah.
That head of
sales are one hears, yes. Yeah.
Osgood's head just looks photoshopped badly, doesn't it? Something just
didn't always. Yeah.
Well, look at this. Joe Martin talks to Doctor Who magazine. Oh, yippee bloody do. Kindness and fairness. That's what the Doctor stands for, all the Doctors. So this is what I'm saying at the top of the show. This is quadrupling down on one of the most unpopular storylines in Doctor Who history, to the point where the majority of fans don't count it and have walked away. Hartnell first. There is no Doctor before Hartnell. The Doctor is not a female of his species. He's a male of his species. And here they go again, pandering to a minority that you will be lucky to have BBC Studios in 5 years' time. Let's put it that way, because these people will not stick around like we all did in this version of the hiatus. They'll get bored very, very quickly and go off and do something else. Hopefully, some of them will actually grow up and start coming in to live in the real world rather than on Fantasy Island. But the whole nonsense about this in Doctor Who magazine, they are doing what BBC Studios want them to do. Now, of course, Circuit Breaker is a BBC Studios product, massive BBC Studios product. There's been a lot of time, energy, and money gone into this, bringing in, as ever, all the various partners from BBC Studios licensees to say, right, you do this, and you do this, and you do this. And Doctor Who magazine is part of that. This magazine was given over to huge publicity onto this thing. It hasn't even started its part in the Circuit Breaker, which apparently is next month, with a comic strip with Joe Martin as this version of the Doctor. This is not going to bring back long-term fans like us. It's not going to bring in new people in there. And it's going to, with a cover like that, if any Notwe sees it, it's going to confuse the general audience who just think, oh, no, that's not for me.
Yeah.
I won't be watching that.
They'll think it's Huggy Bear and his mum.
Well, that's kind of what I meant. Yeah. They're planning to have like a few months of comic strips of the Fugitive Doctor in Doctor Who magazine, are they?
Not too sure. I'm not too sure how many Doctor Who magazines. I think it's either, it might be one episode. I'm not sure. I don't think it says. But we've got this here. Now, this is the, what is now, it's been pulled to open for quite a while, but this is the editorial, isn't it?
Yeah.
And what this guy called Jason, who apparently is the editor these days, what he said, we have covered him before ages ago on the show, but what he says is this month also sees the start of Circuit Breaker, and we're going to be with you every step of the way. I am not alone in wanting more of Joe Martin's Fugitive Doctor. No, there must be at least 15 of you. Yeah. I have followed her Big Finish audio adventures, and now I'm looking forward to seeing her interact with our friends from UNIT and see how she copes with some of the Doctor's oldest adversaries. Over the summer months, we will be following the story as it unfolds. We'll be reading the comics, watching the Blu-ray, reading the books, playing the games, and listening to the audios. It's going to be quite a ride, and we're looking forward to revealing our chapter of Circuit Breaker in the next issue of this magazine. But enough, don't dally, time is of the essence, read on and enjoy.
Good sales pitch.
Moronic.
Yeah.
I am staggered. And this is now where I'm going to ask you about the poll this week, everybody, because what we're going to be looking at now, as we go through this review of Doctor Who magazine, we're going to be asking you, how long do you think Doctor Who magazine will last? You can put in 1 in the chat for 12 months, 2 in the chat for 18 months, or 3, no, it's going to survive. It will survive. So 1 for 12 months, 2 for 18 months, or 3, it will survive the hiatus. Okay, so put that in the chat now, 1, 2, or 3, while we get on with the story. Because this is Doctor Who magazine, and I'm shocked by this. Now, the problem with Doctor Who magazine now is it's always out of date by the time it gets onto out into the shelves, isn't it, guys?
Yeah.
And you've got people like ourselves now, of course, all over the world, all over this platform, who will get there very, very quickly. For example, here at Who's Views, we were there within 12 minutes of the announcement of the cancellation of the Christmas special and the forthcoming hiatus. That can happen now with everybody. Doctor Who magazine, not so, because it's here in this particular issue that came out on Thursday. And it's the exact same thing. New era for Doctor Who announced by BBC, the Russell T Davies Instagram with the trans TARDIS, you know, all this. Bad Wolf say goodbye as preparations are made for the future, bigging it up, bigging it up, bigging it up, bigging it up. All the usual stuff there. You know, they're really putting the spin on it, if you're pardon.
Misinterpreting it, yeah. What new era?
Yeah. Making it into the best thing ever going forward. Then they make a big play on the Gallifrey Guardian as well, to the fact that this version of this character, alleged Doctor, is meeting the Daleks. I mean, that's a big thing for these people, isn't it? Oh, the Doctor has to meet the Daleks, blah, blah, blah. Well, Ncuti Gatwa never did, and neither did Paul McGann, quite frankly. So maybe you should all get over that. But this is talking about Circuit Breaker. This year's Multimedia Universe event is finally here. Oh, yippee-doo. It all kicks off on the sale date of 25th of June. We're calling the Doctor on the unit website. So you have to go to a website, guys, as well. And then it goes on to all this other stuff, you know. It's Adversary of the Daleks, written by Dan Watters, Dulce M. Montoya or whatever, illustrated by Sammy Cavella. Lots of tick boxes there. Well done, everybody. It takes the fugitive Doctor back to ancient Greece, where she discovers that even the gods are fearful of the strange alien visitors from the universe. I can't be bothered reading it out because it's so damn boring, but it's there for you. You know, it's there for you if you want to look at it.
I'll just go straight to the website. Don't worry, it's fine.
It's desperate, isn't it, really?
It is desperate, yeah.
But it's interesting that they're bringing this out and part of it exists online, and the government are just in the process of banning certain age brackets from large chunks of online activity. So it'll be, I know it's a website, but it depends. Is it an actual website, or is it a engagement website, in which case it'd probably class as social media? They've got to be careful.
Yeah, because if you don't know, if you're not in the United Kingdom, what this Labour government is also doing right now is it's going to ban access to the internet to under 16s. Yeah, you heard me correctly. Yeah, and they say we don't live in a dictatorship.
Yeah.
How
it should be up
wrong
to the
they
parents
are.
to decide that and let them decide it. You know,
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Of course it should.
JT, is it apologies, is it just a good point to, I think we have missed this one. Mark Greaves gave us a super chat right at the top of the show, right at the very start. But I've had it up here because it refers to DWM. I didn't know if
there. Hi, panel. Good to see you. That magazine is as dead as Peter McDead of the Clan McDead of Dead Island.
I wonder which one he's voting for then.
Oh, gosh. Thank you for that. Yeah.
I didn't know if you had that stored up ready for this section, JT, so apologies if you did.
Thank you very much. I've also got this from Peter Wilcox, who was saying, hi, lovely guys. I was going to go watch, now called away. Have a great show. Yeah, thank you for that, Peter. I've been getting Doctor Who magazine since I was 9. It is still pretty good. Honestly, I'm going to catch up soon with all whose views. I'm going to dispute that from what I've seen in this one, Peter, with respect, because I think it's an absolute pile of poo. What else? Yes, this is the thing. Steve Braddock saying to me, JT, they're saying it's not on hiatus because they're saying with the return of Joe Martin, it's back. It's utter denial. That was planned beautifully for them, though, wasn't it? It's as though they knew they were going to do it.
Yeah.
But if all she's doing those comics and online things and audios,
books and audios, yeah.
So any Paul McGann could be the next Doctor for all that matters. You know what I mean? It doesn't make any sense. It's just bollocks, honestly.
Yeah.
So.
And I've got this one that's come through to me now from Lex. Thank you for this, Lex. According to the web, BBC own the broadcasting and streaming rights of Tripods and not the film rights to the novels. Disney bought the movie rights and the novels. Thanks for checking that. I knew Disney were actually planning it. The BBC will never look at doing the show again because it's too much. It's going to cost a fortune. They can't afford to do Doctor Who, so who are they going to do the Tripods? But yeah, the movie is a whole different sort of thing. So Disney, honestly, it's been in development hell, the Tripods movie with Disney for years. 3 or 4 films they wanted to do. The Real Geriatric is saying to us, the last hiatus had a proper doctor, Sylvester. This hiatus has nothing but pretenders and phonies. That's a good point. Legion of James saying, it's been on hiatus since Capaldi. Jodie onwards was nothing but awful fan fiction guff.
The ones that say it's not on hiatus because it's been produced with the Joe Martin thing on various forms of media. Big Finish started in 1999, didn't they?
Yeah.
It was on hiatus then, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it made no difference. It was on hiatus, regardless of whether it was being made by another company on a different media.
Yeah.
It wasn't being made for television, for regular showing on television. So it was on hiatus, like now. So their argument's spurious. They're just trying to convince themselves to make themselves sleep better at night.
And I never said that when Paradise of Death and Ghosts of N-Space came out. It was on hiatus then. Oh, wait.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why. Yeah.
I just don't think you understand what the word hiatus means. And for those of us that have lived through it, we know very well what it means. And I think it's shocking. Digby saying to us, I look forward to Zeus zapping the made-up Joe Martin Doctor with a thunderbolt.
We can happen.
Chris Kaz, haven't bought since Chibnall's era, been tempted lately with the master plan coverage, but saved my money instead. This is the other thing, isn't it, Chris? It's a lot of money. It's a lot of money, this thing. Julianne, a month. The exchange of views I've had this weekend with people about the validity or lack of it for the fake first Doctor. I know they are. I think it's a lot of desperation as well, Julianne. Hi, Marine Boy. Nice to see you. And as John, the computer doctor, says, the poor darlings are kidding themselves.
Yeah.
What's this from Lex? Another super chat come through from Lex. I found recently a short movie script which I wrote many years ago, a sci-fi thriller called Who to Trust. That could get made now. You could set it in government. That would be good, Lex. That would be good. This whole issue, as I'm sitting in Tesco having a coffee, looking at this thing, I was cringing. This reeked of desperation for me. It has obviously been planned. Oh, you can do this then, and we'll launch it then, because the show will be known by then it's not coming back. You know.
The annoying thing about this is, I think we touched on this before last week, I think, or one of the shows we did anyway, that Russell probably signed this off.
He did.
Before he
allegedly.
went.
Yeah.
And that's really frustrating because who wants this? I don't, you know.
Well, there are 2 people I can tell you that want it, and they are featured in this article. But this is one of them. Now, we've mentioned this guy a couple of years ago. This, you may remember, everybody, is James Page.
Who?
James Page is the brand manager for Doctor Who for BBC Studios. He's about 10.
Oh,
do you remember we covered him a couple of years ago?
I remember now. It's coming back like a bad dream, yes. So.
Yes, there were 2 of them at the time. I don't know what happened to the woman that was involved, but Mr. Page is still there. James Page is still there, even though there is no show on air. And Circuit Breaker, along with alleged author, call me a bitch, I don't care.
You're a bitch.
Esme Jicky Pearson. They came up with this idea of Circuit Breaker. Now, there she is in the bottom left-hand corner from the magazine. Now, she's the woman that wrote the Church on Ruby Road novelization. Yes, that huge, staggering hit.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
You said hit.
Yeah, it was massive. It was a huge hit. Please ignore the stickers on the covers there for both books from the Forbidden Planet sale. You can actually, I can zoom in on this, and I can tell you that in Forbidden Planet, that hardback book of the Church of Ruby Road that she's holding on the right there is now £2.
God,
I wouldn't pay £2 for that. No, I'm sorry.
No.
And the other one that she's written is called The Principal Moments. It's another one. It's not a Doctor Who book, but that's also in the Forbidden Planet sale. So do you know what? If it had been me taking the photographs, I would have said, just take the sale tickets off, love.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But this is it. Now, this is going to be hard work, Who viewers. Doctor Who magazine enters the Black Archive to speak with Esme, Jikimi Pearson, and James Page, the masterminds behind Circuit Breaker. Aren't you all so lucky? Count yourselves so lucky you've got this thing coming.
Masterminds. That's a wonderful
exactly
oxymoron there. Yeah.
As Circuit Breaker, the mixed media series starring Joe Martin, launches across digital, comics, magazines, books, audio, and games, we were lucky enough to track down the people at the heart of this ambitious story arc. Doctor Who's brand manager, James Page, is all hot and sweaty, having just completed the London Marathon, and author Esme Jikimi Pearson is just the opposite, cool, calm, and collected. Tact. I'm sure he didn't come straight off the marathon to meet Doctor Who magazine, did he?
No.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
How did Circuit Breaker come to be? What were the sparks that gave it life? How did James and Esme join forces to bring it into the world like multimedia midwives? Yeah.
Was he brand manager before when they did the previous one with what's her face, that awful comedian, and then the one before with the Town of Victoria?
I can't remember.
I mean,
sorry.
He clearly doesn't have any common business sense whatsoever. If he did that again after 2 failures, that's really stupid.
Well, I think he's been there since 2023. So I don't know when. I can't remember when that thing came out.
So the Seuss Kempner one would have been that. Yeah. So produced that one. That was a flop, and they do another one like this, which is another flop. That's just stupid.
It says here that James stretches in an effort to relieve his cramping muscles. Last summer, we launched the in-universe website Unit HQ at San Diego Comic-Con. We were photographing some of the props we had in the warehouse to start populating the Unit Black Archive online. We then had all these handwritten messages from Petronella Osgood. We thought it would be cool to do a wider story now that we've got this online in-universe experience that plays with the Black Archive. So we had this initial idea of things infiltrating the Black Archive. That was the basic premise. When was Esme recruited? Well, I had worked with Esme on her brilliant novelization for the Church of Ruby Road, which is now available for £2, everybody. And we kind of, it couldn't be that brilliant. And we kind of clicked. And then the other things she has done, like the Moon Cruise for Penguin, 15th Doctor Adventure set on a luxury interstellar space cruise, it just blew me away. So when Circuit Breaker came up, I immediately knew who I wanted to work with. Vanessa Hamilton, my boss at the time, was always singing Esme's praises too because they had already worked together.
Permission to vomit, please, if that's allowed.
Well,
yeah.
Esme says, we were brainstorming about all these items are linked to things or events in the Doctor's past or future, just like a wire or circuit. Then I thought of how the fugitive Doctor is kind of a rule breaker. So I thought of her as a circuit breaker. She's the one who has to break the circuit. It's part of the tension and shakes everything up, and how she handles things differently to the way other doctors would. We really needed a rule breaker, and she's perfect for that.
They could have got Colin Baker in to do that quite easily, surely. Yeah.
There's a white bloke, though, so none of that, please, if you don't mind.
Yeah, that's true. Sorry, I do beg your pardon. So, yeah.
It's very predictable. This whole thing is very predictable. It doesn't continue. It does continue onto several of the pages. This thing, it says, I don't understand any of this because I don't follow the Joe Martin thing at all. We're all in agreement here. Now Esme, apart from her Doctor Who novels, she's also the author of the best-selling space opera Principle of Moments. Blah, 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 blah. So they talk about that for a little bit. I don't know. I've lost interest in it already. So sorry. At the early stage when we were working on the skeleton of the whole thing and breaking it into chapters, which we didn't know which licensees would pick up which stories, we were like, would this work best in a prose or as a comic? And then there was some thoughts. And then there were some that thought, I'm sorry, the language. And then there were some that we thought, that's it, would be great if they could be done as an audio adventure, and some which might not have translated so well into a game format. On top of all that, we had to make sure that each story was more or less self-contained, but also that if you're a fan, you would want to check out the other formats and other chapters. Basically, it's just another way of them trying to make money again. But who's going to pick this up? Again, the fans they're aiming at teeny weeny bitty witty witty compared to the big fandom that they are constantly ignoring. Why do you think they're doubling down on this? Why are they constantly ignoring the bigger fan base for the minority fan base?
And surprise, only audio version will be Big Finish. No one else is doing any audio, are they? You know, so crazy. Yeah. Big Finish will be lapping this up, no doubt. Yeah. So.
Pete Harrington, Digby was saying to us there, wasn't Hartnell's Doctor the ultimate rule breaker, leaving Gallifrey in a stolen TARDIS, abducting two of his granddaughter's teachers as well? That's a fair point. Pete Harrington is saying to me, you're a hero for reading this, JT. Thank you very much. It's so mind-numbingly boring, you know, and I was looking at it over a cup of coffee and it took ages because I was just, this is awful. I just don't understand why.
I imagine this whole circuit breaker thing is probably useful to, say, the NHS, because they will save so much money on anaesthetic, because you'll just show somebody a bit of circuit breaker and they'll be unconscious for about 4 hours, won't they? So, you know, get your operation done, you're out, and everybody's happy. But I can't see it being any kind of entertainment to anybody, particularly.
The trouble is with the NHS, have to pay for all the copies of the stuff they had to use. That'd be a waste of budget, actually. But yeah.
Well, hopefully they could just reuse one or put it online.
Maybe, yeah. On a loop, yeah.
Yeah.
It's hard work, though, all this stuff. And, you know, some people are going on saying, again, they're using this as the example, well, Doctor Who is still going because they're justifying this with a woman that isn't even the Doctor. It's unbelievable. As Margie is saying to us, the whole thing is nauseating. Phil Roy joining us saying, to be honest, I did buy Doctor Who magazine last month, but only after hiding it inside a copy of Big Jugs Monthly. It's always been interested in antique glass. Okay. Hidden History and The Holy saying, good grief, this might actually be worse than football. I'd rather watch the football, to be quite honest, Hidden History, and that's me saying something.
I think they're referring to our tangent about the Brazil-Scotland match, etc. I think.
Yeah, Paul started talking about football. I was shocked.
I wish I could edit that out of the show then. Most online shops charge 15 to 20 quid plus shipping, says Sheila B in the devotion. Yeah, there's all that as well. Yeah. It's absolutely ridiculous. But what gets me, hello Mordrin Brown Bread, it's Doctor Who magazine. Now, I understand that they have to do, at this point, really what BBC Studios want them to do. But the other thing is, by doubling this down, this has come from the BBC Studios alleged brand manager of Doctor Who, this idea, James Page. He has come up with this. Here's one of his quotes. Osgood idolizes the Doctor. I'm excited for people to see her being challenged in the effect she has on the Doctor. Mr. Page, you are the BBC Studios brand manager for Doctor Who. Why are you obsessed with the minority audience? The show is on hiatus. It is out of production. Why are you not doing something to bring the fandom back? Why are you obsessed with the DEI version of Doctor Who, which is now bang out of trend in the United Kingdom, whether you like it or not? And this worries me. He's a BBC Studios employee. Now, BBC Studios may bid to take on Doctor Who from the BBC. They are aware of this version of the show. Why do I get the feeling that if they won the bid, what if they were the only people to put a bid in? And what if BBC Studios awarded it to BBC Studios? They are aware of the most unpopular years of Doctor Who. Would they reboot the show or would they continue it?
We'll just get 8 episodes of Joe Martin. All good.
They would continue it. Yes, they would continue it. Joe Martin would still be a Doctor. Jodie Whittaker would still be a Doctor. Ncuti Gatwa would still be a Doctor. And you're right, Ian. It would flop because we wouldn't go to see it. The amount of millions of Doctor Who fans would still say, no, thank you, it's more of the same. And the British public would not go back to see it. Yeah. Because they haven't been invested in that era of the show. And this is what worries me. And James Page is the brand manager for BBC Studios for Doctor Who, and he came up with this concept, and he wanted the Joe Martin Doctor in it.
So is this concept going to run through the entire year into next year, or just the end of the year, and then it's going to stop? Any idea how long it's running for?
I don't actually. Let me see if it says into this. Let's get
Curious.
EWM might not make it into next year.
Yeah, we're lucky to make it until October, I'd imagine. But
what is it you're both looking forward to as Circuit Breaker unfolds? Asked Doctor Who Magazine. I think we'll probably both say the same thing, says Esme. I think it's about discovering more about the fugitive Doctor, and then the villain reveal too. The villain is really interesting because I think much of their backstory is how the wounds that life gives us can really fester and then come out in the hate and anger that we give to others.
this is, again, they're missing the point where Doctor Who is. Why do you want to know about the fugitive Doctor? If you're going to explore the character, it's Doctor Who. Remember that? You know, it's like...
James says he has a slightly different point of view. I was going to say something similar, but I'm really, really excited about bringing back Osgood. She's been promoted to the head of the Black Archive. Obviously, Osgood idolizes the Doctor, but now she's confronted with a version of the Doctor she does not recognize, and that she cannot idolize because the fugitive Doctor does things so differently from every other incarnation. So it's not the Doctor.
Yeah,
that's my point.
Osgood is worse than the Whiz Kid from Great Show in the Galaxy. Honestly, that's just a horrible fan cliche. It's awful.
Yeah.
All it says here, Paul, about the time is we predict. Doctor Who Magazine says we predict plenty more excitement and joy in the months to come.
Oh,
so it's months. It's months, like the other thing was, but nobody noticed.
Yeah.
No.
Chef Brackett, hello. It's Doctor Who in name only, just like Disney Star Wars isn't actual Star Wars. It just wears a Star Wars skin.
Yeah.
The worst part of all of this is trying to make Joe Martin the first Doctor. That's just awful. It really is. And she's never going to be. And that's already giving her a hard time because, apart from the fact no one wants her anyway, but claiming she could be the first Doctor is not helping her case whatsoever. I'm sorry.
Well, she claimed it herself, didn't she?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So,
and that just alienates pretty much
all
everybody.
fans, you'd like to think. Most genuine fans, certainly. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Doctor Who Magazine really goes into this in depth. They basically try and fill up as many pages as they possibly can through the Circuit Breaker, working with BBC Studios to fill up space. They even have an article on the bloody costume. This is a meeting. Joe Martin loves her new fugitive Doctor outfit. It looks exactly the same to me.
It's just a bloody hat, isn't it? They added to it, isn't it?
Well, no, it's been completely redone. Doctor Who meets up with James Sutton, the man tasked with bringing the costumes and gadgets of Circuit Breaker to life. And it's all the usual stuff that we know about already. Oh, it's about heritage and blah, blah, blah. James has now joined a pretty exclusive club designing the Doctor's wardrobe, except he hasn't. I definitely sought advice, he confesses. I spoke to Louise Page, the costume designer during David Tennant's 10th Doctor era, and she gave me a few useful pointers. With the fugitive Doctor, Ray Holman, designer of the original fugitive Doctor costume, said, did such a fantastic job, I didn't want to change a single thing about her silhouette because you know immediately that it's the fugitive Doctor. I disagree. And every Doctor needs that recognizable imagery. Tell that to Russell T Davies with Ncuti Gatwa. So the color switch was easy enough to do, just changing bits and pieces. But then we were on a call with Joe and we said, I think she'd really rock a hat. And Joe was like, yeah, I can rock a hat. I've always thought of the fugitive Doctor as a kind of classic Doctor. And if you look back at a lot of them, well, Hartnell has his hats and Troughton has the stovepipe hat, and Pertwee had that one in Spearhead from Space, and there's Tom Baker and Peter Davison, even Colin Baker. Even Colin Baker,
there. Yeah.
Even Colin Baker, if we're sneaky, had one. And of course, Sylvester Moore had a hat.
McGann didn't.
Nonsense. Utter nonsense. A lot of it.
Matt Smith didn't.
Yeah.
It's nonsense. It's utter nonsense. And this whole article goes in on how this gentleman has put together this outfit for her and how it's 3 or 4 pages long about the outfit. I mean, that is just filling up space, isn't it? Yeah. It's totally filling up space, including some photographs of her on a green screen.
If this is going to be a continuation for months and months, and it's going to be in every issue of Doctor Who magazine, I was joking about ending at Christmas. I'll be lucky to get to Christmas, surely, for God's sake.
Well, it's going to go the same way as Time Lord Victorious, as the Doomsday thing. Wasn't there another one, or is this the third?
Yeah, Time Lord Victorious was first, then the Doomsday one with that awful comedian, and this one, yeah.
Right,
yeah.
So this is the third one.
This third one, yeah, yeah.
And I ask you, Who viewers, why bother? I just think it's absolutely ridiculous. Let's have a look how the poll's going. We're asking your poll tonight now live on the show. How long do you think Doctor Who magazine will last? It's 1 for 12 months, 2 for 18 months, and 3, no, it's going to survive. I can tell you right now that 49% of you in the chat this evening, we've got over 215 people watching us this evening. Thank you very much for your patience and being with us during the technical issues. 49% of you are saying 12 months. 49% of you are saying 18 months. And 2% of you are saying it will survive. In fact, the 18 months has just gone up to 50%. So it's around about 18 months they're thinking it's going to last right now, guys. Keep that going.
That's too long to wait. It really is.
It's still open for you there. 1 for 12 months, 2 for 18 months, or 3, it will survive as we carry on with this. And thank you all very much. This whole thing about the fugitive doctor, this is one of Chris Chibnall's things, isn't it? And I just think it's absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah.
You know, why did he do it? I don't understand, Ian, why he did it.
It went down such a dead end when they did that, and it was just purely to try and make it a conversation point, and it was the wrong way to do it. Trashing, you take on something that's over 60 years old, you have a responsibility. You don't just have the job of producing future episodes, you have a responsibility to honor what's gone before you, and curate the history of it. And he's just shat all over that, and RTD did the same. And it's absolutely unforgivable. And, you know, we all think Hartnell's first. Nothing will ever change that.
Yeah.
And Chibnall and RTD just showed what they did not understand about Doctor Who and the essence of Doctor Who, which is why they were so bad at it at the end of the day.
Well, we have to blame Moffat for this because he started it with the War
Doctor.
So he's responsible for that, really is.
Yeah.
And for my critics as well who are watching me, can I just say that for me, the War Doctor doesn't count either. I hate all these out of regeneration pieces of crap. I don't like it. Real Super Doctor 3, nice to see you. The only real bit of Doctor Who this year was the discovery of the missing episodes. I agree. And Graham is saying to us, I mean, seriously, look at this magazine. Who on earth is going to part with their hard-earned to buy drivel about a non-entity's new hat? Julianne Goodwin is also saying, oh, they added a hat.
Whoopie-doo, yeah.
Yeah, whoopie-doo. I mean, if they are going to continue down this road with Doctor Who magazine, they aren't going to get anywhere. And again, Doctor Who magazine, the same as I say to James Page at BBC Studios, you can't just rely on the far superior specials now, which are actually aimed at us, our age group. They got rid of us from the magazine, realized it, and started churning out these specials. Like the 8th Doctor one they did, which was very good, but that was at us. It's classic Doctor Who. It's proper Doctor Who. You can't have the two. I don't think, and I think I'm fed up with them all.
And the subject material of the specials has been done to death now, hasn't it?
Yeah.
It's always periodically there'll be a Dalek one, there'll be a Cyberman one, there'll be a TARDIS one, there'll be a Time Lords one, there'll be an Invasions of Earth one, but it's the same old themes rehashed with a different format. You can only do it for so long.
And I don't see them doing like let's do a Jodie Whittaker era one, 2017 to whatever it was she finished, and do that, because no one's going to buy that, are they? Let's be honest.
No.
I have to say, Jo Martin must be absolutely bloody delighted because she struck gold here because she's now at Doctor Who conventions earning money.
Yeah.
She's got this. She's been paid to do this. I don't know the actress, so I'm not going to. I mean, good on her for taking it because it was offered and somebody had to take it. But by God, she knows how to milk it as well. And here she is in Doctor Who magazine with an exclusive interview. It's exclusive because no other bugger would want it. And I still don't understand why they've allowed the alleged Doctor to have a gun. As Circuit Breaker is now fully charged, Jason Quinn, who's the editor of this trash, connects with the Time Lord at the center of it all. Let's raise a toast to the fugitive Dr. Jo Martin. Well, why should we?
There's a reason for the gun, because apparently the Doctor, or this Doctor, worked for like the CIA type thing called the Division, kind of like another CIA type idea, and went on missions to do stuff for the Time Lords, apparently. And she had a gun because she's like a mercenary sort of thing.
The more I hear about this, the more nonsensical it becomes and the more ridiculous it becomes.
It's such a nonsense.
In the magazine, it says here, Circuit Breaker, the 2026 Mixed Media Doctor Who event unfolding across digital comics, this magazine, audio, games, novels, and a Blu-ray is about to launch. And on this bright, sunny late April morning, the event's leading player, Jo Martin, is here to tell us all about it. Confession time for Doctor Who magazine. It is the morning after the night before. We were busy signing off the previous issue at the printers until 3 a.m. and we are worried that our energy levels may leave something to be desired. Does anybody really care?
No.
Does anybody really care? We'll go on with this because it keeps saying here loads of rubbish. It's exciting. It's so exciting that it's going in all these different media. I don't know how James Page, the Doctor Who brand manager, alongside writer Kimi Pearson, has organized this whole thing. He's such a wonderful coordinator, producer. He's got every title. He's wearing every hat. He's over every single thing. And I'm just trying to keep up because it's an amazing idea to have the Fugitive Doctor at the center of all these stories and all these elements of everything, to see the artwork, the comics, the audios, and all these things coming together. And I'm there as this thread running through everything. So this is all about James Page. This is his idea. He's put it together. He's pushed it. And I just can't believe that as a Doctor Who brand manager, this young man has doubled down on alienating millions of Doctor Who fans in a time when the show is not on, it's not in production, it's not coming back anytime soon. And I would say to you, James, if you bothered to get back to my emails, I would say to you, you're messing up. You're missing a massive opportunity to bring Doctor Who fans back with doctors.
Yeah.
And this is what worries me about BBC Studios. They keep banging on about the same things. Joe is clearly loving this story arc, and the enjoyment isn't limited to the stories themselves. I've got a new costume. Have you seen it?
Don't care. She's not the Doctor, like we said. She really isn't the Doctor at all. You know?
It's just superficial, isn't it? It's just superficial rubbish.
Yeah.
I really hope we get a new action figure of me with the hat, Joe continues. Who's going to buy it? I mean, not many people bought the last one, allegedly, so I'm told.
Well, remember the last one they bought it for a police box, kept the police box and melted the figure in the microwave, I think people did. So.
Yeah.
I said Ed Weir will get 3, though, won't he? I mean, let's be fair.
So he will do, but yeah.
Doctor Who magazine says to her, what did Joe think when James Page first approached her about Circuit Breaker? I thought he must be mad, she says. Circuit Breaker, what the hell are you talking about? Then he explained everything, and I just got so excited. Then they asked if I wanted to write a book. A book, me, for Penguin Books. You've got to be joking. But they weren't. I mean, I've written plays, and I've used to write comedy sketches for stand-up, and I've written for the Radio 4. That's the kind of writing I know. But I've never written a book before. This is a completely new world for me. So she's actually part of it. She's actually written a book in it, guys.
Oh, God. What is it? The complete biography of the Fugitive Doctor. Tell you everything you want to know. It's like okay for Time Lords kind of thing, yeah.
She also has a quote here, which I don't appreciate. Talking about her version of the Doctor, her attitudes to violence and getting the job done at any cost are changing. It's great to see that thawing of her character. So you'll know more about that than I do, but I don't appreciate that. That doesn't sound like the Doctor. As somebody was saying in the chat, it's also available on BBC Audiobooks. It's across all the partners, again, just like the previous two. But I don't know. I mean, are they expecting this thing to be a massive seller for them?
Obviously, yeah. And it's like they're so delusional about this. It's not going to sell at all, surely. I'd love to see sales figures for this. I really would.
Well, Victorious did it, and that had Tennant, who was supposed to be popular. And I can't see Jo Martin doing anything because she's not really anything to do with the character of the Doctor anyway.
She's not. But they spend several pages talking to Jo Martin about this and really, really fleshing it out and talking about all sorts of stuff. Now, she does this other thing, which I've seen trailed on one of the channels, the Marlowe Murder Club. So she talks about that as well and gives that a really decent plug. Yeah, it's hard work. It really is hard work. They also talk about this. Now, this is an interview with Amari Douglas. Now, surprise here, Amari Douglas was in It's a Sin.
All right, no surprise, yeah.
Yeah.
Are there any straight white men in those photos at all? Any of them? Anywhere? I mean, the guy in the middle on the left page has got his hand on his hip, so I very much doubt it. Probably not.
That's Amari. That's Amari and his character.
Right.
Yeah. So again, it's part of this whole cult that's going on, isn't it? Television viewers first encountered Amari Douglas in 2021's outstanding RTD drama series It's a Sin, in which he played Roscoe Babatunde. He has since gone on to act alongside Billy Piper in Series 2 of I Hate Susie, and is currently filming the second season of HBO legal drama War. How did he find himself in the ranks of UNIT? It all goes back to 2019 when I was filming It's a Sin. Barnaby Edwards and Nicholas Briggs were both working on the show because there is this big Doctor Who sequence in episode 4. Oh, yeah, the Dalek thing. And they were involved in that. Anyway, a couple of years later, Barnaby was directing a Torchwood audio for Big Finish. He asked me to be part of that. Blah, 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 blah. It was the first audio I've done. When Barnaby asked me to come back for the Big Finish Circuit Breaker audio, it was a no-brainer. And that's out in September. So it's cleek, 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 cleek all the way through.
Yeah.
Again, I'm going to say, I don't think BBC Studios are the right people to continue on this franchise. I think it's got to come away from the BBC completely. And it pains me to say that. But because they are so aware of the history of the show, I think they would just continue it, guys. I don't think they would refresh it in any way. I think we would still get references to Jodie Whittaker, Ncuti Gatwa, Joe Martin. I think that would be the case to death.
The Joe Martin thing doesn't make any sense. Anyway, if they're claiming she's the first Doctor, why does she have a police box TARDIS? Doesn't make any sense. Anyway, but,
No, absolutely.
I don't know. Does she? Fafty Head is saying they're keeping themselves in a job. They're desperate. There's a lot of that in there, isn't there? Raymond Williams saying to us, Chibnall has escaped unscathed. Doctor Who should have been a huge stain on his career, but nobody watched, so he got off lightly. Whittaker likewise. And the Jason Parker, nice to see you. I thought it was insane creating these something other Doctors when we had so many 2005 actors playing the Doctor anyway. Like we needed more. Ugh. Yeah. Spot on Ian says, Graham, how many times can they flog the same thing to fans over and over again? Well, they're still doing it now, aren't they? Yeah. Honestly. Pete Harrington saying 2-page spread for Jodie era, 1 page for Fruity. John is saying to us, John Roberts saying, Joe Martin is okay in the Marlowe Murder Club. Never seen it. Not really my thing by the look of it.
I think she's an okay actor, but she's not Doctor material at all. You know what I mean?
No. So. Lots of you in the chat saying things. Thank you very much for everybody. Michael Disney is saying to us, aren't we supposed to be avoiding these sorts of stereotypes? Matthew Pounder, Joe Martin is the poor man's Tribuac version. What else we got? Real Super Doc. The Doctor never uses a gun. That was the whole point of the character. Everything goes against the character. Exactly. Stephen O'Neill reiterating Hartnell first.
But Dear Daleks is an exception, of course.
An Arc of Infinity.
Arc of Infinity, yeah.
Yeah. I'm looking at all the comments here. This isn't going down very well in our chat. So I gather none of you will be buying this, which is my point, really. Huge amounts of fandom, millions of us alienated again, excluded again, for them doubling down on something that was unpopular, unbelievable, and shame on them.
When are they going to learn? I've no idea. Yeah.
If the tender process, and if it's like a business tender, then they have to get 3 tenders, don't they? But if the tender process, it ends up awarding it to a non-BBC or BBC affiliate, so not even Bad Wolf, then that might be an indication that there's hope.
Yeah.
If it's one of those instead, then I think the writing's on the wall.
Yeah. I totally agree. I mean, it could be an indication of that, but I'm now convinced because of this whole thing I've looked at in this magazine. It has to. It can no longer stay within BBC Studios. I'm going to say as well, somebody said to me earlier this week that BBC Studios were considering, not definitely, but considering putting a tender in when the process comes from BBC.
Because no one else will touch it with a barge pole. So,
well, who's going to do it? I mean, we've said it before. Yeah. You've had Disney spending millions on it and then walking away. That's not a good thing to sell, is it? That's not a good look. I don't know. I think it annoys me. Hello to Anton Brannigan. Like every circuit breaker, they're tripping if they expect massive sales for this. Do you know what, though, Anton? I think they are so arrogant to think that they will.
Yeah.
And yet she's holding a book from BBC Studios, Penguin Books, one of her own, which is now reduced from £14.99 or whatever it was to £2, and it's still not selling on the shelves.
Well, they're playing to a demographic still that have already gone on record saying that they don't buy merchandise. So good luck to them.
Lex sent me a picture on the chat about the Doctor Who annual from 2025, the last shooty one. That's £2 as well. That made me laugh.
Yeah, and that's still not selling.
Yeah,
you know, because we're now in July. The annuals are usually recalled in February.
Yeah,
and yet Doctor Who, you can still find it on some of the shelves out there for £2, and it's still there.
Yeah,
and it's nearly a year since it was released because the annuals come out in late August.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Jason Parker, Doctor Who magazine has been irrelevant to most Doctor Who fans for over a decade, if not more. A boring, irrelevant bundle of trite. Omari Douglas, irritating in the overrated. It's a bore. Oh, yeah. I look at it now, actually, Jason. I look at It's a Sin now and just think it was overrated. It's one of those RTD things, like the thing he's just had with Tippy Toey. It's of the time. There's fuss about it all the time, and then it disappears. Right?
Yeah.
The problem with Tippy Toey, as I might talk about soon, is the fact it's now even got its own Facebook page with lots of deluded people coming on going about and bitching about how bad life is for them all. Well, whose fault is that?
Yeah.
You know, you created the issues. Richard Brooks, the failure of Circuit Breaker will be blamed on us. We are ist and ist, yes. Otherwise, we would consume the whole thing. This is the thing, isn't it, Richard? Had they come up with something else which wasn't aimed at the minority with a recognizable figure from the show, it might have interested us. But this is not going to be. This is the third one of these things where I'm thinking, not for me again.
Can they just give us a new Blu-ray box set, please? Thank you.
Yeah. Can we have the Blu-ray box set, please? Can we get back on track with the standards editions, please? Because we haven't had one of them for ages, have we, Legion of James? Nope. Steve Andrews is saying, I don't want it to ever come back. I know what you mean.
Yeah.
It's getting to that point. It's been damaged so much.
Yeah, I'm loath to say, can they make it any worse? But yes, they can. So
they can always make it worse.
They can always make it worse. Yeah.
Thank you, everybody in the chat, for your comments on this one. It was insane, this actual issue. There was a whole thing about this, the You'll Never Walk Alone feature, which is this bloody book that's out there, which I have ignored. But because it's part of this magazine now, I'll talk about. But this is this book that's out there about how a
Doctor Who's always been gay. Is that kind of what they're saying?
Yeah, it's a gay history of Doctor Who. It's quite desperate, really.
Yeah.
I'm what a load of rubbish. And of course, they go on about the Q word, the homophobic slur, and all that absolute nonsense. And then there's this. There is a whole article here about that really ridiculous, awful episode, The Story in the Engine. The Story in the Engine took Doctor Who to Africa and the Nigerian city of Lagos. Writer Inua Ellams, director Makala McPherson, costume designer Pam Downey, and cast members Sewell Rimi and Virada Setu consider this a unique episode. I'm sure they do.
Is unique a euphemism, is it?
Don't forget, if you don't like it, you're ist.
Yeah.
You can't even say it was unique because it was shit, because the entire 2 Gatwa series were shit. So it wasn't even unique for that, was it?
No. But it wasn't. I mean, you're right. But this one was the one with the hair growing out, every 2 minutes, wasn't it? I mean,
and people were telling stories and reading like Braille and the hair and stuff.
Yeah.
And a house on a
Only
spike.
thing, I hate the episodes. I was jealous of the fact they could grow their hair like that. That was quite interesting.
Dr. Wants is saying they've announced a new annual for this year, amazingly. Yeah, I mean, it was actually announced earlier this year. It's a terrible cover. It's absolutely awful. It's the TARDIS on a purple, blue, and white background. Surprise, surprise. It's $11.99 if you want it. It's available to pre-order now. It's not.
That'll be £2 before you know it if you want it. Yeah. So.
I gave up buying Doctor Who magazine shortly after the 13th arrived. No regrets, says Radium. Philip Roy is saying to us the Gatwa annual isn't selling as the paper it's printed on is too shiny to wipe your bum with. And Steve Braddock is saying about the whole project. If it's a failure, I'm sure they will blame us. Oh, I think they already are.
Oh, probably,
Yeah. Aurum, hello, Aurum. I'd love to see the sales data for Doomsday, the last cross-media merchandise project. Now, I have tried to get that information for us, and it's very difficult to get it because it's not in the public domain at the moment. Yeah, so it's very difficult. I'll keep trying because I really want to see it because that's a show.
You think if the BBC are doing like an audit of their finances, they'd maybe look into this a bit. I know it's probably a tiny amount of their failure, but it's kind of like it's still failure nonetheless, and a waste of money throwing it down the toilet, you know?
Yeah. Legion of James saying, "Oh, FFS, can they just stop putting gay into Doctor Who?" Something I agree with as well. Bill Lowry is also saying, "Does the BBC understand there are Doctor Who fans who aren't homosexual?" I don't think they do, because that's their target audience, and unfortunately, it's not worked because we're not all one community anymore. Raymond Williams is saying all the best Doctor Who writers were straight white men. Go figure. Yeah, you're not allowed to say that anymore, though, did you? Dr. Once they didn't interview Gareth Roberts for that gay book, even though he wrote the first gay character in Doctor Who in Tragedy Day in 1994. That's very true. Yeah, that's very true. But no, they won't go near Gareth anymore, will they? That's terrible. And Real Geriatric is saying, and where was the white representation in that engine episode?
You can go look at our review 58 years of it, let's be honest.
That you can go look at our review of that. If you remember it, you remember it, but you can go and look at it because obviously it's there. What a load of nonsense it was. And it was exactly what it wasn't supposed to be. It was exclusive. It was racist. It was pathetic in a storyline. It wasn't Doctor Who at all. And it was deliberately done to tick the DEI boxes to make them look clever. And it was basically a rehash of that author's bloody stage show that I'm sure he was getting plaudits because of the DEI, because of, oh, look who's written it. Oh, he's brilliant.
Yeah.
Prove me wrong, because these people are hypocrites. Yeah, so there's this whole article about it with interviews from them all about the whole Lagos thing, and what can I say? It's exactly what you expect it to be. It's the best thing ever. Best thing ever.
And how much was that issue? What the price of that was to pay for that rubbish?
Well, as from the next one, the issue goes up to $11.99 per month.
$11.99.
$11.99 per month, guys. For Doctor
Who. When it was 30p, Paul.
I remember like 12 pence, Grandad. What are you talking about? I'm telling you.
The first issues were 12 pence a week.
Yeah.
The weekly ones, wasn't it? And the first monthly was 30p, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Matthew Pounder is saying there are so many terrible articles. They've outdone themselves this month. Oh, Margie 75. I hope they air that episode in Nigeria and see what happens. Again, that's the whole point, Margie. How hypocritical of them. I feel safe out there, I seem to recall the doctor saying. Really? You're a mincing, nancing, prancing ninny. You are certainly not safe outside those police box stores, you ridiculous, ridiculous crone. What were they talking about? What were they thinking about? Unbelievable. Philip Shaw saying, oh, it's the same old regurgitating of the doctor. Real Geriatric. Isn't Nigeria a tad homophobic? Just teeny weeny bit. Yes, just a teeny weeny bit. Yeah. They just absolutely just conveniently forgot that, though, didn't they? Because of tick boxing. Anton Brannigan could have gone for Play-Doh hair for that engine one. It would have improved the acting at least. Yeah. I remember all the Play-Doh. That was quite good when I was a kid. Just squeeze the thing through. Dalek Shalom, hello. Africa does lead the world in human organ harvesting. So there you go. That's an achievement. That's true. And some guy. This upcoming CBB show for Doctor Who is a waste of money, but I can see what they're trying to do, getting young kids hooked onto Doctor Who, moving them to the main show like most with Sarah Jane. It's not even that, some guy. Now, bearing in mind as well, there is no main show. There is no main show right now to do that with. Hello, The Carcass. I think the increase in Doctor Who magazine price. Yeah, hello, Carcass. Hope you're all right. Yeah, but some guy, there is no main show now. And also, the CBBS one is for under fives. So you can't get under fives going that quickly, Paul, to what would be a family drama, really. it wouldn't work.
But they're missing the point, though. Doctor Who always watched it when we were kids. We watched it when you were little, and you grew up with it. So you don't need a BBC version. Just watch the family show with a family. It's a family. That's how it worked, and you grew up with it. You don't need this preschool thing. It's pointless, you know.
As a child, you saw Doctor Who, and you were like, "What is that?"
Yes.
And you wanted to see more. You know, I was 6 when I first saw it, and I was just like, "What on earth is this?"
Yeah.
And from that point on, you know, never missed a beat.
And that's where all the legends come from, behind the sofa, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
The crack in the door, all that. And when you were little, it was fantastic. You loved all that, and the thrill of it, you know, and the scares and the spooks and the monsters, everything, you know, superb. And that's how they get the kids into it, by being hooked that way around, you know.
Yeah.
Terry Lapidus asking, right. I would kill to find out the Doctor Who magazine circulation numbers over the last decade. Where can we find them? They're not in the public zone, but you can pay for them. And I wasn't prepared to pay £45 for them.
Maybe get a whip round and we could do it through the channel.
Maybe we could. But I'm looking for them, and as soon as if I can get them, we will talk about them. The increase, says Carcass, in Doctor Who magazine price shows that there are problems in Paradise.
Yeah.
And Space Peninsula is saying, I would be too embarrassed to watch an older version of a show I watched as a toddler, so not quite sure that tactic would work. So here we have Doctor Who magazine working alongside BBC Studios, alienating millions of fans yet again with this circuit breaker, which has been put together by the BBC Studios brand manager for Doctor Who. Does anyone else not see the sense in this?
Yeah.
Is it just me? Is it just us? I don't know.
No, it's
I don't
crazy.
know.
Yeah.
Let's have a look at the poll that we've been putting up for people now. I'm going to stop it right now. Thank you for all your votes. Let's stop it there, and let's show this. How long do you think Doctor Who magazine will last? Was our question on our poll tonight. I can tell you now that 2% of you said it will survive the hiatus. 45% of you have said it will last 18 months, and 53% of you have given it 12 months after what we've just looked at. So our audience tonight is saying 12 months for Doctor Who magazine after all those years. And quite frankly, thank you to everybody that voted. Quite frankly, guys, after what I have just seen in that article, in that latest edition, I think that's far too long, because they've been peddling this nonsense out while the TV series run. They have an opportunity now for a brave new start, and they kick it off with all this coverage of Circuit Breaker.
Yeah.
Panini, you're going to have to pick up your running shoes here, and you're going to have to realize the reboot was not that popular, and people are going to start realizing that as the hiatus continues and start looking back at it, they're going to start to criticize it, and they're going to realize it was nowhere near as brilliant as the original run of 26 years. Because there's too much, I've said it before, there's too much baggage, including this Joe Martin version of the character. That's baggage. And to any new production company, I would say, ignore absolutely everything and go back and look at Doctors 1 to 4.
Yeah.
That's what I would say. Listen, thank you very much, everybody. We're going to call it a day there. Thank you so much for being with us. I am sorry again about my technical issues earlier. I'm going to try and get that sorted. It's incredibly embarrassing. I'm very sorry about that. Nothing to do with me. It's a blooming platform. They will be getting some very swift messages after this show, I can assure you. Ian and Paul, thank you so much for the show tonight. Hope you've enjoyed that.
We did much, particularly our tangent. That was fun. Yes.
Good. Thank you for everybody for joining in with the poll tonight as well. Interesting. We will be back with more news for you, obviously, next week. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe. If you're not new to us, please make sure you're still subscribed. Give us a thumbs up, give us a hype. And thank you as ever for all your chats and your super chats. Really, really, really appreciate it. It's always good to come here on Sunday for your big show headlines, where we can actually just chat about it. There's going to be a hell of a lot more coming up in the next few months, years to come, as Doctor Who continues its hiatus. Let's see how far Doctor Who magazine gets through this one, shall we? From Ian, Paul, and myself, thanks for joining us, everyone. Until we see you next time on the channel. Ta-ra.
Bye-bye, everyone. Good night. Bye-bye.